Your morning just got more interesting. Distilled and barrel-picked for your listening pleasure. Bo Bishop, a local sports media legend. What William T. Sherman was to the Union Army, he is to Northern College football. A husband, a father, and middling youth sports coach. He's friends with Central Ohio sporting royalty.
Talking to Ohio State Athletic Director Ross Bjorken. Coach Day walking on with us right now. Good to see you, buddy. Good buddy, Austin Ward. My good buddy, Tim May, the Tim May Show. The great Doug Lavery's joining us.
Hi, everybody. Dom Tiberi here.
Oh, Reese came in and he handed me papers.
Yeah,
and then he said, "You see that button? That's the only button you need to worry about. Don't touch. There's 8,000 buttons in front of me." Oh, I didn't know what he was talking about.
The one that says on.
We blew the budget on this imaging, and only two guys answered our ad on Craigslist. Ryan Baker and Eric Reeser. Act accordingly. You're now listening to Bishop and Friends.
Bishop and Friends is sponsored by Diamond Seller, your true jeweler for over 75 years.
All right, let's do it live on a Tuesday edition of the program. Bo and the boys with you for the next three. Chris Fedor, Cleveland.com, going to join us at 9:30 for a must-win for the Cavaliers. A wild night in the association on the hardwood and off. Potential incredibly serious injury happening last night. Knicks Celtics as well. 10 o'clock, we hit you with the real truth. 10:30, Uncle Dom will stop by. In the 11 o'clock hour, the big theme there will be just how much pushback can Ohio State have? How willing are they to throw their weight around? Reese is back. Did you have a good time off, buddy? What do we do?
Yeah, I went to...
Number one highlight.
I saw Metallica Sunday night for the first time.
Come on. They still got it? Still got the fastball?
Yeah, I was telling Tyvis and T-Bone a couple minutes ago that they're Ohio State, where at Sonic Temple you had 4 days of incredible bands.
Yeah.
But Metallica's just at a different level. Like, still to this day, like, this is one of the last world tours that they're going to do. But it's different. Metallica does better than anybody else. So they've been doing better than anybody else for 30 plus years. Like, when you see other bands that are at this kind of a level, you're like, well, they're great. Everything's wonderful about them. And then Metallica hits the stage and Enter Sandman just sends, 30,000 people into a frenzy. And you're like, there's nothing else like that on the planet.
I was telling Bake yesterday about them, how they were like the ones that got my parents worried musically when I was a kid. Like, because there was the hair band stuff was happening, and it was like, well, how far can you push all of that? And it was, Motley Crue and Poison and all of that stuff. And then there was like Van Halen, and all of that stuff was kind of happening at the same time. And then Guns N' Roses happened, and it was like, well, this is a little different. Like, there's certainly an edge to this that's maybe not quite the way the other hair bands were. And then there was Metallica. And was the cover of the CD, was it Kill 'Em All? Was it
the Hammer?
Yeah. Was it Kill 'Em All?
That you're talking about, like the hammer hitting the skull?
It's Kill 'Em All.
Yes.
Yeah, there's the hammer in the hand, like the Soviet hammer, and then the blood. And I remember like my parents being like, now what do we have here now? I don't know that this is something that you can have in the house. When was that released? Oh my God, 93.
Yeah,
or 83. 83 rather.
I was about to say.
That would have been a record or a tape. I can't remember. But I certainly did not. I wasn't sucking it down when I was 7. I can assure you of that. So that was more like middle school, but I remember that cover. It's cool they still have their fastball. So, all right, this is where we are with my night last night. So we had Beamsy had a lacrosse game, and so we were at that. The other two had practice, and then I picked him up. And while I was waiting for the two littles to be done, I hopped on the X platform and I started scrolling. And one of the things I saw was the Fox football graphic that week 1 and the Michigan game are going to be on Fox. So Texas and Michigan are going to be on Fox. Okay. So one thing I'm looking for right away is this big noon. Is this big noon kick? Like, that's what I see Fox, and I understand that that's their window, but it does not say big noon kick on the graphic. So then I keep scouring, and I look at the Ohio State graphic, and it doesn't say big noon either. But then I see a report from our great friends at 11 Warriors, and in the reporting, it says it's confirmed Ohio State season opener versus Texas will be a noon game on Fox. So I then tweet out, and this is just the timeline of my events last night, go straight to hell. I know. That's what the money's for, which we talk about all the time. But this is a true waste of what would have been an all-time Ohio Stadium atmosphere. Shameful, right? So then this gets all sorts of attention, and away you go. You get all sorts of people commenting, yeah, this sucks. I don't know anybody who's like, oh, yeah, chill. This is how we want it. We want Texas at noon and sweltering heat and all of those things. You don't have a time to have a real atmosphere. So I get a text from a buddy, and the buddy is, I'll paraphrase, not so fast. Maybe just, so then I start digging into this, and I can't get anybody who I trust to confirm that Ohio State, Texas is noon. Won't confirm that it's not, but won't confirm that it is. So now you say to your, so then you start saying things. Well, then our great friends at 11 Warriors, who are incredible people and really very, very good at their jobs, they then kind of amended their thing. And this was the interesting part here. This is from 11 Warriors directly. Maybe there's something weird going on behind the scenes, because for what it's worth, Fox's article Monday initially specified Texas Ohio State would be a noon kick, but the declaration of a set kickoff time has since been removed. An Ohio Stadium spokesperson also confirm a specific game time to 11 Warriors on Monday either, nor did any of the graphics announce a set time. And so something that was in a release was then taken out. Now, by the way, in the meantime, Fox did their upfronts on Monday, and you see Tom Brady, which, by the way, I told you this is why they're paying Tom Brady $300 million, so that he can go and talk in front of their corporate sponsors. He was the presenter for their upfronts. Like, he's the face of Fox. That's what they're paying him all the money to be, is that. So then you get to say to yourself, well, okay, is there still a chance here? And it's my understanding that, in fact, there is. That there is a chance that this game could be played at night. Now, go ahead, Mr. Reese.
Well, I was going to say, watching that up front, they made no mention of the time for both Ohio State and Texas and Ohio State at Michigan. They just made reference to Fox College Football will have the games. And so that, for me, was the biggest aha moment, because if they're up fronts, they say Big Noon, and they have the Big Noon branding, then you're done. Yeah. And there's no going back from that. But the fact that they didn't,
no.
There's not so fast, my friend.
There was nothing in the upfront, in terms of what they said, and graphically it's gone. And initially it was in the story, the Fox article on Monday, and then was removed. Okay? All right. So you're saying there's a chance, right? And maybe there is here. And it's my understanding that there is. Now, how do they go about this? This I don't know. I'm not going to sit here and lie to you and act like I do. I don't know what they're going to do here. I know that they have night baseball on August 30th. They have a trio of regional games. We know that according to the television agreement, the noon window is theirs, the 3:30 is CBS's, and the 7 p.m. is NBC. Now, what we don't know, though, specifically is when that all starts. Does that start in August, or is that something that starts sometime in September? Because there's been some loopholes with CBS through the years with the U.S. Open Tennis, where their SEC package at the time that they had it would not start initially. So the time that it launches, I'm not clear on. The other thing that is possible here, and this is just connecting dots. This isn't pay attention to the scores. Could that Texas game potentially be played Friday night? Could it be played Saturday night? Could it be played Sunday night? How about Monday night? Because it's the Labor Day weekend. Could you play around with the date here or there a day to play in prime time and not go opposite a television agreement that gives the prime time to NBC? I don't know. Don't have an answer for you. I just know that it to me, it's a little bit. It waved some red flags for me when I saw, or maybe in this instance it would be green flags, because we all want this thing to be a night game. I know how bad Ohio State wants it to be a night game. They know. I know how much Ross Bjork's working on. Everybody's working on this to try to find a way here to play this game at night. Everybody wants it at night, and you understand why. Atmosphere is tenfold better. But what options does Fox have as a workaround here? And this is just me connecting dots, this last part, is just trying to find another window where they can play. And I'm not sure what it would be, but it's not cooked yet. That part I know. It's not locked into noon yet. I feel very confident about that part. In terms of when it could be played, Connect the dots all you want, fellas. I don't think that they would do Friday night. I don't think you'd want that. But I also don't know, does ESPN have exclusivity on Sunday night and Monday night that weekend in those windows? Is there something else they can do to play with this a little bit? We're hopeful. More hopeful than I was last night when I tweeted go to hell. I'll tell you that. Yeah,
there was understandable consternation with the fan base. Both fan bases, really. Mm-hmm. I think even in Austin, you got to wake up. And I'm sure they're already up for that, but just the idea that you're going to have 1v2 go at 11 their time, that's not great. The Sunday night thing, I mean, Notre Dame, Miami, that's an ESPNer. But when you talk about, like, the college football exclusivity, couldn't Fox just say, no thanks, go to hell?
I don't know.
Yeah.
That I don't know. I don't know how the language on all this stuff was written. But I don't think it's cooked yet. And that gives you a sense of hope. Yeah, it gives you hope. Because nobody wants this at noon. It's just when you combine the weather and the early start time, number 1 versus number 2 should not be a noon game. Now, Texas played Michigan at noon last year. Go ahead, Reese.
We also wonder, like, the return game in Austin. It's probably an ESPN or they'll put it at night.
Of course. Yeah.
And I don't know how much, from Ohio State they can do about this, but if you're Fox, I would hope that the execs there are saying, well, we can't be overshadowed by this. We have to have our game better than theirs.
I hope there's some common sense applied here, and I hope there's a workaround. And my hunch is that's what they're trying to figure out. Is a workaround. Go ahead, Vic.
There's got to be some kind of trade, right, that can happen here. Like maybe they trade NBC that week, and I don't know. I'm guessing there's probably not another huge Big Ten game that week. And
what if they? Because the way we understand it, Fox has the first 3 picks.
Correct.
So what if they don't take Penn State for Fox or for NBC? Say, hey, we'll give you Penn State, Ohio State at night.
Which that could be, because I think we talked about that this past year. There was some kind of trade, or the year before, some kind of trade where they could work all that around. I think it had something to do with the Ohio State-Oregon game because they couldn't play that at noon. So they did some kind of trade. There's got to be some kind of deal because as Reese and I were talking, I'm guessing there's more money in this for Fox if they have this game later as well.
Of course.
More premium ads and all of that. There's got to be some kind of trade here that can help everyone out.
Yeah. So all that I feel strongly that we're not cooked yet. It's not noon yet. And perhaps there's a workaround here based on conversations I had last night. So we'll see. What a crazy night in the sports world last night. All of the stuff on the hardwood and then all of the stuff off of it. All the while, a must-win for the Cavaliers tonight. If they're to stay alive, we'll get to all of that coming up. Loaded up on a Tuesday edition, Bishop and Friends, right here on The Fan.
A lot has changed in 30 years, but we're still that old shoe that feels worn in and well-loved. And, well, we smell a little, but you've accepted that. The Fan.
Men, is good enough really what you want with your sex life? This is Jeff for Tri-State Men's Health. And if erectile dysfunction is making for a bad bedroom experience for you and your partner, you should call us because you want your intimacy to be fantastic, both for you and the one you love. At Tri-State Men's Health, our treatments have success rates of well over 90%. And because we're a medical practice focused on men's sexual health, we can offer many treatment options and even combine treatments to find the right one for you. Which means if you're like most of our patients, we can likely get you performing like you haven't in years. So make an appointment and make a change from good enough to really good. And for a limited time, we're offering new patients a free first visit to help you get the care you deserve. This includes blood work, a medical consult, and if medically advised, a test dose to demonstrate to you the amazing effectiveness of our treatments. Call 800-900-9654 or go to tristatemenshealth.com. We have 6 offices in the tri-state area to serve you. Tri-State Men's Health, a Promenic restorative health practice.
Hey, it's Bobby Carpenter. Spring is here and it's time to refresh your yard with Ohio Mulch. With 15 convenient locations in Central Ohio, it's easier than ever to get your mulch ready for the season. Need it delivered? No problem. Save $50 on home delivery when you order online. Whether it's mulch, soil, or even stone, we've got your yard covered. Visit OhioMulch.com today and spruce up your garden with the best.
Ohio Mulch, landscape supply, cleaner, greener, better.
Going up.
Prices keep going up these days. It feels like being on an elevator that only goes up.
Going up.
But not at Metro. We're pushing the down button.
going down.
We've lowered prices. Get one line of 5G data for $40, period. That's 20% lower. And you get a free Samsung 5G phone when you bring your number. Only at Metro.
5-year guarantee on eligible plans. Exclusions apply. See website for details. Not available at Metro with T-Mobile in the past 6 months. Tax applies.
Did you know even the smallest increase in mortgage rates can cost you thousands of dollars over the life of your loan? Hi, I'm Mark Stefanski, Chairman and CEO of Third Federal. It's true, even a 0.25% change in rate can cost you thousands of dollars over the life of your mortgage. But with Third Federal's new Early Rate Lock, you don't have to take chances. Early Rate Lock is the only pre-approval that locks in your rate at pre-approval, even before you find a house. Plus, we're so confident that our rates are the lowest, if you find a lower rate, we'll beat it or give you $1,000. And now through May 31st, get pre-approved with Third Federal and we'll pay all of your closing costs. So don't wait. Call Third Federal today.
Right now with Third Federal, even before you find a home, lock in 6.625%, APR 6.685% on a 30-year fixed-rate purchase mortgage. Visit thirdfederal.com or call 1-800-3rd-FED today. APR reflects 15% down for $350,000 loan amount. Rate requires automatic payment program and is subject to change. Restrictions apply. Zero closing costs on low-cost loans only. See conditions for lowest rate guarantee at thirdfederal.com. Equal housing lender.
If you miss a little, you'll miss a lot. Search for your favorite fan shows wherever you get your podcasts and subscribe. Every episode comes right to your phone absolutely free. Modern technology, it's a hell of a thing. Do it now. The Fan.
Have you ever told a friend?
Oh, I'm fine.
When you really felt?
Just so overwhelmed.
Or sent a text?
Can't sleep. Are you awake?
When you couldn't find the words to say?
I'm scared to be alone with my thoughts right now.
Then this is your sign to reach out to the 988 Lifeline for 24/7 free confidential support. You don't have to hide how you feel. Text, call, or chat anytime.
Hi, I'm Josie. My daughter turns 5 today. Blow out the candles. I'm also an Ohio State Highway Patrol trooper. When you move over and slow down, you're not only giving me room to work, you're making sure I can get home to celebrate with my daughter.
Roadside workers have lives and families, but when they're on the job, they put it all on the line to protect and serve us. When you see flashing lights, remember, they're not just roadside workers. Thank you for moving over and slowing down.
Brought to you by ODOT, USDOT, NHTSA, and ODPS.
Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
Temperatures today getting up into the mid-70s and cloudy to mostly cloudy skies. However, we still have chances of showers and thunderstorms, some which could be heavy downpours and gusty winds at times. For tonight, those chances continue with lows right around 60. And for Wednesday, we warm into the upper 70s with rain and storm chances still lingering. For the Fan, I'm meteorologist Meredith Garfalo with your 10 weather impact forecast.
Buckeye games have been airing on WBNS since before you were born and before your parents were born and before Abraham Lincoln was born. Trust me. Your home of the Buckeyes, The Fan. When General Sherman marched through Georgia, he was listening to this show.
Use your skills for good, young warrior.
This is Bishop and Friends.
And it's Bo here to tell you about my great friends at Diamond Seller, who know that forever starts with the perfect diamond. For over 78 years, their families helped generations of couples celebrate love with brilliance, quality, and unbeatable prices. At Diamond Seller, bigger diamonds, better prices are their promise to you. Whether you're popping the question or upgrading your sparkle, trust the experts at Diamond Seller because diamonds are their forte. Visit Diamond Seller today, Sawmill Road, Easton Town Center. Learn more at diamondseller.com. All right, we've got a lot going. By the way, how much rain can we have in a spring? What's our? I mean, we got to be there, right? Meantime, I see like the Colorado's got no river. Fort Meade is half empty, or Lake Mead half empty in Nevada. Meantime, we had a nice weekend, thank God, but it's just. We've got to be to the point where I don't know how much saturation the ground could even take in, Big.
I was going to say, be careful what you wish for. We had 4 beautiful days in a row. Just be careful.
That's all you get. That's what you get. Yeah. I mean, it was Mother's Day weekend. And then I just saw this from Maddie Andrews. The Ohio State baseball game canceled tonight against Butler. Already been canceled.
I think there's more than weather that's going into that, though, Bo. I think there's some pitching staff issues with Ohio State as well, and they're not having a great season anyway. So weather, yes, but I think that might be a convenient excuse.
Conspiracy bake? Conspiracy bake?
No conspiracy. Look,
I liked it.
I liked it. That was really good.
A game with Butler on a Tuesday doesn't mean that much.
Take the shackles off. Live in a conspiracy world, Bake. That's a good spot for you to operate in. The Ohio State tweet says, due to expected rain and thunderstorms this evening, today's game against Butler has been canceled. So the final series starts Thursday against Illinois, senior weekend. All games are on the 1460. So there you go on that. But yeah, we are at a point now where it's just we had the one great weekend. I guess that's all you get for spring in Ohio. It's just one great weekend. It was Mother's Day and Reese's concert, and other than that, we're kind of cooked. It does allow for you to watch a lot of hoops, and there was. We'll get to Cavs Pacers in a second, but what happened last night in the Garden was a tough watch with Jason Tatum. I mean, that feels like Achilles, right? No one's saying anything about it, but it feels like it's an Achilles.
It sure looked a lot like Aaron Rodgers, didn't it? Almost the same kind of stretch. And I mean, Tatum didn't have somebody on his back, but sure seemed like it looked like that.
You know, my working theory on this, based on about 10% of kind of connecting dots with medical people, is that the rash of Achilles injuries that we've seen here in the last decade plus comes from the fact that you can't really make tendons better. Tendons are tendons. So you fine-tune the body, you fine-tune the muscle, you get quicker twitch, stronger. You don't really take time off. Guys don't take time off anymore. They just kind of go year-round. Professional athletes do. They never really get out of shape. Remember training camp in the old days, like in the NFL, the first 2 weeks was about getting in shape, right? Because in the NFL in those days, you played like beer league basketball. I mean, like you'd go around and play like police departments for fundraisers. Like that's what you did in the offseason. Now they just train year round. And it just, when you talk to folks in the medical world, like just this, that are involved with team docs and such, there's so much fine tuning done to muscles that tendons are tendons. That's kind of where I go with all of this. I mean, you think back 25, 30 years ago, how many times you hear about an Achilles tear? I mean, there's a half dozen of them that are right in our face in the last couple of years from an Achilles situation. So yeah, that was brutal to watch. Obviously I see no scenario where Boston can make that competitive with the Knicks after that one. And it was interesting on the call, Mike Breen saying biggest Knicks win in 25 years. And you realize it's probably been that long for them since they've done it.
Yeah.
It's tough watching Tatum, Reese.
Yeah. That's the biggest outside of New York, like everybody else in the NBA. That's the thing that looms largest over this. Is what does Jason Tatum look like coming back? Because I get it for Mike Breen and Knicks fans everywhere. Like, yes, that was that. Like last night, they saw him like storming the city because they were just so elated that it's curtains for the Celtics, and so the Knicks are on to the Eastern Conference Finals. And if you're New York, whoever comes out of the semifinal series between the Cavs and the Pacers, you're feeling really good about yourself.
Yeah, I mean, they got like 16 Villanova guys who've been playing together for a decade, so I mean that helps. And yeah, they're really good. They're a tough team to play against, much like the team the Cavaliers have been dealing with. This Indiana team, they are a chesty, physical. I mean, they're bullies. They very much are. It reminds you very much of the Dale Davis, Antonio Davis, that becat Jermaine O'Neal, Ron Artest, like kind of that 90s. Indiana mentality of we will punch you in the mouth, and they've done that to the Cavaliers, and so inevitably, and it does feel inevitable to me when the Knicks do take care of Boston, especially with the Tatum injury, and that series eventually goes final. It's going to take all that Cleveland has to get through this one with Indy, and even if they get there, the matchup against the Knicks is a brutal one for them because it'll be a steady diet of the exact same thing. I'm not convinced they'll get there. They've got a Game 5 tonight. A Game 6 tonight. No, it's 5. Game 5 tonight.
Yep.
Game 5 tonight in Cleveland. And then Indy would host Game 6. When is that? Thursday?
Be Thursday, yep.
Okay, Thursday would be Game 6 if they get there. Kenny Atkinson, they obviously need more out of Darius Garland. Here's your NBA Coach of the Year, Kenny Atkinson, on what he expects out of Garland, perhaps in Game 5.
I asked him. I said, "You tell me. Like, we got to think about Game 5." And he wanted to get his rhythm, which I completely understand. I think he felt better. I thought he was moving better, so that's a real positive. Hopefully we get Donovan back. Like I said, you go get Game 5, and you're back here for Game 6.
Yeah, that's all it is. I think when you're, it's cliche for a reason, one game at a time, and that's where they're at. Here's Atkinson on that. Just win one game.
Obviously, a few guys, got minutes that they normally didn't get to. Ice looked good there. So, hey, listen, we got 2 out of the 3 next games at home. If we're great at home. Got to get the next one, see if we can come back here for game 6.
80-39 at half, Reese. That was Sunday.
Yep. I was checking. I had the score just kind of refreshing with Metallica. They made it a 20-point game at the end.
Yeah.
So they only lost by 20, which was what the box score said, but it was never, after the first quarter, it was done.
It was done.
And,
alarming.
That Mitchell's going to play, or they haven't until they announce that he will not play. You think likely Mitchell's going to play. You don't know what the hell you're going to get from him, because it feels like he's given his all through this, and everybody else is kind of weathering injuries or weathering. I don't know what to make with Jared Allen at this point. Sunday when I got back from Metallica, I looked at his contract and I was like, well. From that.
Here's the thing that really sucks if they don't find a way to win this series, which I think we can all agree is very uphill. There's not much they can do in the offseason. So basically, they'll just run it back.
Yep.
And then next year will be a completely joyless season, and nothing will matter until they get in the postseason. Right? I mean, that's what will happen if they can't find a way to come back from this big.
And it's interesting. I remember last year we thinking, there's going to be changes coming to this Cavs roster. They're not going to be able to keep everyone. They're not going to be able to keep these guys together.
Yeah.
And now the thought of maybe keeping them together is kind of disappointing, because it seems like you've hit a ceiling with this group, right? And if you want to get to that next level, you just don't know if you can do it with this team as it's assembled.
I also don't know that you're entitled championships. I think that there's this mentality because when LeBron was there that, like, if it doesn't manifest in a championship, it's a failure. I don't think that's the case. I think that there is nuance in the NBA, but I think the LeBron experience kind of spoiled Cavs fans thinking if you don't hang a banner, the season is a failure. And the reality is those are really hard to do. They're very difficult. You think about all of the storied franchises and how hard it is. Think about the Knicks. They haven't won a championship since 72. Like, it's really hard to win one. And so I don't know that you're entitled to that. In terms of what you are entitled to tonight, I would say effort is chief among them. Our buddy Chris Fedor, Cleveland.com, covers the Cavs and the NBA. He'll join us in 2 minutes. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
Individuals and businesses with tax problems, listen carefully. Do you feel like you're losing control of your finances? If you owe over $10,000 in back taxes or have unfiled tax returns, we can help you take back control. The IRS is the largest and most aggressive collection agency in the world, and they can seize your bank accounts, garnish your paycheck, close your business, and file criminal charges. Take control of your tax problem now by calling the experts at U.S. Tax Shield and take advantage of the Fresh Start program and new laws that may allow us to negotiate a settlement for the lowest amount possible. Our team of tax attorneys and enrolled agents can stop collections and get you protected so you can take control of your financial future. U.S. Tax Shield offers a price protection guaranteed quote to get you protected today. U.S. Tax Shield is A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau, so call now. 800-687-5192. That's 800-687-5192. U.S. Tax Shield. 800-687-5192.
From the hardwood to the warehouse, performance matters. That's why Caster Connection, proudly based in Columbus and trusted nationwide, delivers industrial caster and wheel solutions to keep operations rolling smoothly. With an unrivaled online inventory and the best consultative experts in the industry, we'll help you find the right caster for any job. Shop now at casterconnection.com and save 10% on online orders with promo code ROLL10. Not a retail location.
Hey folks, Austin Ward here with an opportunity to lose 40 by the 4th. Yes, pounds, and why not? I dropped my first 40 in just 8 weeks. It was easy, and it will be easy for you too. Take the medication-free and lasting approach. Awaken180weightloss.com.
I think I just wrote the song of the summer. Listen. That's just you drinking a Big Gulp from Speedway. And just 89 cents for any size with Speedy Rewards? That's a hit. The convenience stores of Speedway. Valid through 6/24/25. See app for full terms.
Bishop and Friends is sponsored by Diamond Seller, your true jeweler for over 75 years. The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
What's up?
What's up, man? What's up with you?
Sponsored by Newman Roofing. For all your roofing, gutter, or siding needs, call Newman Roofing today at 614-NEW-ROOF or visit online at newmanroofing.com.
And here's what's up on a Tuesday edition of the program, efforting our good buddy Chris Fedor, Cleveland.com, for some perspective on a must-win, obviously, Game 5 for the Cavaliers tonight up in Cleveland. Meantime, the NBA taking center stage last night, not just because of the swirling playoff action. By the way, Minnesota now up 3-1. Indiana will attempt to do the same tonight up in Cleveland. For some perspective, we go to our good buddy Chris Fedor on the Bryant Heating and Cooling Systems fan guest hotline. Before we get into your game, you've been around this league for a long time. When you see what happens like last night in the draft lottery and you see social media go rigged, your thought is what?
My thought is I had the same thing, but I know how these things go, and I know people that have been inside that lottery room, and I know what they've told me about the ability to rig it and stuff like that. But you know how these things go, Bo. Sometimes you don't want to hear those kinds of things. You've already made up your mind of what the NBA has decided it was going to do when it comes to the lottery. But, you know, given everything that I know about it, the ping pong combinations, like how they go about it, showing everybody the presentation and all that kind of stuff, it would be very, 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 very difficult to do that.
Yeah, the look of it's crazy. It's a wild look, to say the least. Buddy.
But if you're human and you know everything that happened throughout the course of this NBA season, you can't help but wonder about that.
Oh my gosh! And then and this is all what happens. You end up in conspiracy Bo world, where I see a graphic that shows Chris Paul traded to the Clippers, and then they win Anthony Davis, and then I see Anthony Davis to the Lakers, and they win Zion, and you go, my God, all of these things. It's so much. I remember talking to you about a month ago, and we were talking about kind of where the Cavs stood in, kind of the chase down for the playoffs and all of it. And I remember you saying, and I agreed with you, as you're the educated one on this side of things, that Indiana would be tough, that they would, that it's some matchup stuff that's not that you're not crazy about. And boy, has it come through. There are injuries. There's a lot that's happened in this series. How do you make sense of how we got to where we are now, and where do we go from here tonight? What do you expect to see?
I think we've gotten to this point for a few different reasons, Bo. I think, number one, the injuries loom over this series. I think the other thing is you've got some of the advantages that the Cavs were supposed to have coming into this series. They haven't played out that way. You know, they were supposed to be able to take advantage of Indiana inside because they have Evan Mobley and they have Jared Allen. And Evan Mobley was supposed to be the second best player in this series. And those things just haven't happened. So, like, some of the things that are clear strengths of this basketball team, the advantages that they were supposed to have against Indy, like, the Cavs haven't done a good enough job of maximizing those or taking advantage of those. Whereas on the other side, like, there were clear things that Indiana was going to have in its favor: speed, quickness, the pace that they play, the spacing that they can create on the offensive end of the floor, the balance with their scoring attack, the different counters that they have within their offensive system, like all those different things that the Cavs felt were going to be stressful for them coming into the series. Indiana has maximized those things. Indiana has made sure that those things stayed in their advantage. So I think that's, to me, the big part of this is that the Cavs have, in a way, they have lost their identity. And Indiana has played to its identity, and they've done it better than the Cavs have done it. And I also, like I said, I don't think you can tell the story of this series without bringing up the injuries. And I don't think it's an excuse. I think it's an explanation. It tells you why something has happened the way that it has. You know, DeAndre Hunter was going to play a big role in this series against Indiana because of his versatility, because of his length, because of his perimeter defense, because of his three-level scoring, because of what he can provide to them coming off the bench and in a variety of different lineups. Like, he can guard Tyrese Halliburton and he can guard Pascal Siakam. He can shoot from the outside and he can take advantage of mismatches inside. But he hasn't been the same since game one because he's got a dislocated thumb and there's a ton of swelling there, and it hurts every time the ball makes impact with his thumb. Evan Mobley is hobbling through a sprained ankle that is obviously limiting some of his mobility, limiting some of his ability to power through and make certain kinds of moves underneath the basket, trying to power through some of these Indiana defenders that are pushing him further and further out to the perimeter. And Darius Garland is less than 100%. So he's playing, he's able to be out there on the floor, but against the fastest team in the NBA, it's very, very stressful. And every time he makes a change of direction, every time there's a stop-start, his game, Bo, you know this, it's predicated on speed, quickness, beating guys off the dribble, cutting sharply, craftiness, all that kind of stuff. And he's clearly a limited player. So when you have a series that was going to be competitive from the beginning because of the matchup problems that Indiana can create, because of the experience that they have over the Cavs, and then you talk about this isn't the same team that won 64 games in the regular season and obliterated the Miami Heat, like you start to understand, oh, that's what happened here.
Yeah, and the thing, you're a Clevelander, native Clevelander, you know this, and I'm sure you're getting this nonstop, not only from your readers and your listeners, but also from probably family and friends, because I'm getting it from my wife's family, and that is tough it out.
Yeah.
Gut it out. That's what you hear.
Right.
And I bristle at that, because the notion that like a player wouldn't play if they could is, I just find nonsensical. If you've been around professional athletes, like they don't not want to take advantage of these type of circumstances. And that's something that it's not just in Cleveland, certainly, but it is, there's a lot of it up there, and I'm sure you've been getting it.
Do you think anybody is saying that about Stephen Curry?
No. Maybe.
So
I don't know. Maybe that fan base says, I don't know.
It's curious to me, right? Because I think there's a reality here that people just have lost sight of. Certain injuries you cannot play through. You can't physically be effective. Like, I don't know where this thing came from. Like, certain things that you're dealing with that your body will just not allow you to do. Like, you can't just get a new hamstring in the case of Stephen Curry. Like, do you think it was easy for him to watch what happened yesterday? Do you think it was easy for him to watch what happened the other night? Bo, you know this. These dudes are competitors. Everything that Darius Garland and Evan Mobley have talked about since the beginning of the season has been trying to win a championship, positioning themselves so that they can win a championship. And it's not that they didn't care about the regular season, but they almost didn't care about the regular season. It was get me to the playoffs. That's where legacies are defined, right? That's where I make my money. That's where I make my career. That's where I make a name for myself. Get me to the postseason in the best physical condition, mentally and physically, that I can possibly be in, so that we can have a real shot at chasing this championship. And I talked to Evan Mobley before Game 2 when he was dragging his leg through the locker room, and he was somber. You could tell that it was eating at him that he couldn't be out there with his guys trying to give it a go. But sometimes you just can't play through. Like, not every injury is the same. They're like snowflakes. Some are big, some are small, some disintegrate quickly, some last longer. You can't play through everything, even if you have the desire to do it. So it pained all of these guys to miss any time in this series, because this is the time of year that they live for. This is the time of year that they bust their ass for during the regular season, going through the grind of the regular season. It's all for this time, and if they can't play, they can't play. That's the bottom line.
Yeah. You mentioned earlier that they lost their identity. They're dealing with a lot of injuries. Now, the Mitchell injury, I'm sure he'll play, and I'm sure that he's just done that. That's just how he is. But can they find it back in 3 games?
I mean, I think if there's a team that can, or that is equipped to, it's this team. Just because of everything that they've shown throughout the course of the season, just because of like their roster composition and how versatile they are and how unpredictable they can be within their offense. If this was last year's team, if this was 2 years ago team, and you could see the flaws within the roster and you could see the flaws within the system. Like last year, if they got in a pinch offensively, it's just like, okay, we're going to go high pick and roll. Donovan creates something. Darius creates something. But there's enough dynamism to this offense. There's enough unpredictability to this offense that can potentially keep Indiana on its heels and keep the Pacers off balance. They just have to find it. They have to stay true to it. They have to be disciplined. Like, they're going to get pressured. They're going to get pushed around. Indy is going to be physical. They're going to grab them. They're going to test the limits. That's what they do. That's how they are. That's the knock against the Cavs, is that they don't respond to that. So when that happens, you can't just lose yourself. You just can't abandon your identity and start trying to do things different than what led you to 64 wins and the number one seed in the Eastern Conference. You have to respond to that, and you have to respond to that the right way and stay true to yourselves and find the things that are advantageous for you. And if they do that, sure, 2 of the next 3 are at home. They're a very good team. They've got the best player in the series, the most talented player in the series, Donovan Mitchell. So, yeah, I mean, I think it's possible for them to do this, but a lot of things have to change, both with their mentality and the style that they're willing to play, based on what we've seen in the first 4 games.
Get you out of here on this one. You think they will, at least for tonight?
I think they will tonight, yes.
Yeah.
Well, you know, you never make full-on predictions when it comes to playoff time, and, you know, a mentality of a team can be very, very fragile. But I think there's a lot of pride in that locker room. I still think there's a lot of belief in that locker room. I think there's a lot of skill and talent in that locker room. And they're at home. And I think all of those factors, and I do think Donovan's going to be able to give it a go. Is he going to be 100%? I don't think so, but I think he's going to be able to give it a go. I don't think they can win 3 in a row against this particular opponent in this matchup that bothers the Cavs, clearly bothers the Cavs. But I do think they find a way to get this to Indy for a Game 6.
You're the best, buddy. Thanks for your time.
You got it, Bo. Anytime, man.
All right, there he goes. The great Chris Fedor covers the Cavs in the NBA at Cleveland.com. I touched on it with him. We're going to dig into it coming up next. A 1.8% chance. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
All the 10 TV people come over to our side of the building to take a deuce. That should tell you something about how we operate. The Fan.
Summer's just around the corner. Are you ready to hit the road in style? At Germain Toyota, the adventure starts now with the 2025 Toyota Tundra. Rugged, reliable, and built to take on anything summer throws your way. Drive off in a new Tundra with 1.99 APR for 48 months. That's right, low financing, high performance, and a season full of possibilities. Hurry into Germain Toyota. Germain Toyota on the corner of I-70 and Bryce Road, or online at germaintoyota.net. 1.99 APR for 48 months with approved credit. See dealer for details.
As men get older, our bodies change. We all know that, and often we just accept the changes as the way it is. But some of those changes, such as bad sleep patterns, low sex drive, brain fog, no energy, and reduced gains in the gym, could be due to low testosterone. And that is something you can change. This is Jeff for Tri-State Men's Health. And even if you're in your 30s, or if you're experiencing some or all of the symptoms I just noted, you very well may need low testosterone treatment. With our treatment protocols, if you're like most men, you'll be amazed at the change. You'll have more energy, improved mental clarity, and your sleep will be better, so will your workouts, and you'll likely find your sex drive increases too. So give us a call today and make a change for the good. And for a limited time, new patients will get their initial appointment free, which includes blood work and a medical consult, because we believe low T treatments could have an incredible impact on your life. Call 800-900-9654 or go to tristatemenshealth.com. We have 6 offices in the tri-state area to serve you. Tri-State Men's Health, a Promenic restorative health practice.
Breaking news coming in from Bet365, and it's no surprise. Same game parlay from Bet365 just keeps getting better.
Well, it's even easier to make a bet. Choose from the most popular markets like hits, run line, totals, and home runs. So many to choose from.
Download the app, start building your bet, and see why it's never ordinary at Bet365. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. 21 plus only. Must be physically located in Ohio. T&Cs apply.
Hey, it's Bobby Carpenter. I know firsthand what it's like to battle through joint pain. After years of the hard hits and the wear and tear on the field, I thought pain, it was just going to be something I had to live with. Let me tell you, that's no longer the case thanks to QC Kinetics. For over 8 years, QC Kinetics has been leading the charge nationwide in non-surgical joint pain relief, helping over 50,000 patients get back to doing what they love, pain-free. Whether it's your knees, back, hips, shoulders, you pick it. If joint pain's been slowing you down, you need to hear about what Dr. Aaron Wolkoff and his team in Columbus are doing. They're using cutting-edge regenerative medicine, natural biologic treatments with powerful healing properties to repair and restore damaged joint tissue. No surgery, no drugs, and no downtime. Just real results. The kind of treatment I wish I had access to during my playing days, and now you do. Imagine this summer playing around a golf, chasing the kids, and just enjoying a walk without the pain. Go to qckinetics.com/Columbus or call 380-2845-44. They now have offices in Grove City and Canal Winchester.
Hi, here are some ways to listen to The Fan. You can download the Fan app or listen at home on your smart speaker or open up the iHeartRadio app or hold your head out the window and hear Common Man scream. Happy listening from the dopes at The Fan.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, let's talk ED because millions of men experience it, but not everyone can access or afford treatments like Viagra. Well, Hims can help. Through Hims.com, you can get a full range of treatment options for ED, including daily or as-needed meds through a 100% online process. It all starts with an online intake form. Get started at hims.com/joy, and from there, a medical provider licensed in your state will determine if ED treatment is right for you. If prescribed, your medication is shipped to you for free. Find the ED treatment that fits your needs with options up to 95% less than the brand names. Millions of men experience ED, but Hims can help. To start your free online visit and save up to 95%, go to hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy for your free online visit. HIMS.com/JOY.
The Fan Guest Hotline is sponsored by Airflow Heating and Cooling and Bryant, doing whatever it takes to keep you and your home comfortable. The Fan.
Producers, co-hosts, friends, some of those things are true. You're listening to Bishop and Friends.
I was not watching it live. I was waiting for kids' lacrosse stuff to be over, and then I got the notification on my phone that what had happened. We had talked about it yesterday. It's probably, in terms of an NBA draft lottery, as excited or as anticipatory as you've had since probably Zion, is my guess. That's the last time I remember one that had this kind of juice. And of course, the reason that is because it's rare that we have, almost always it's one and done guys who are gone first that go number one overall. But it's rare that those one and done guys are guys that are household names. Zion Williamson became a household name in large part because of YouTube and the dunk videos when he was in high school. And then he went to Duke, and he was every bit as good as advertised, including so much as running out of a shoe, if you recall that. Cooper Flagg was similar. You've known about Cooper Flagg since he was probably a freshman in high school, sophomore in high school. You just don't get elite talent like that out of the state of Maine ever. So when you start to hear about it, you're like, wait a second, the best 15-year-old, the best 16-year-old in the country is a kid from Maine? Like, this doesn't even make sense. How's this possible? So you became aware of him. His name is one that certainly is one you pay attention to when you hear the name, so that adds to it as well. And then he goes to Duke and he wins National Player of the Year, and they probably should have won a national title if they could have inbounded a basketball. And he wins all that he could do, and he lived up to all of the billing. They had this incredible team at Duke, and he was the entire engine. So with all of those things, those factors in play, you had a draft lottery last night with a lot of teeth to it. And then it went to Dallas, who had a 1.8% chance of winning the draft lottery. And the teams that had the best chance of winning the draft lottery ended up not only did Dallas pick first, San Antonio gets second, Philly gets 3. Philly is third with Maxey and Embiid and all that stuff. So the Hornets, the teams that had the best odds were Utah, the Hornets, and Washington. They end up picking 4, 5, and 6. Utah has never improved its position in the NBA draft lottery. I don't think Washington has either. I don't think they've had an ounce of lottery luck ever. Go ahead, Beck.
I thought that was interesting, Bo, that Utah thing, because we just talked about this with the Jackets last week in the NHL lottery, and how the Jackets once in their history have moved up one spot, but usually they get dropped a couple spots somehow in all of it. Utah's never once improved their position. That is insane to me.
No, and there are just so many issues with the draft lottery through the years. Go back to the original one with Patrick Ewing and the rumors of the frozen envelope. Go back to the one with LeBron James, where we talked about yesterday, like the sliding doors moment of if you're Memphis, you're either getting LeBron James or you're getting nothing when it's between those two picks. And they kept the Akron kid in Cleveland. Okay, so that one. How about when LeBron left? They won the draft lottery. The year after LeBron left, the Cavaliers won the draft lottery. They won it again when he was set to make his return with Wiggins, and then they traded him for Kevin Love. But all of those things, all of those pieces matter. I saw a graphic this morning of when Chris Paul was traded to the Clippers. The next year, New Orleans won the draft lottery and selected Anthony Davis. And then New Orleans traded Anthony Davis to the Lakers. And then that year, they got the draft lottery and got Zion Williamson. And so now, coming off of the most absurd trade by most people's recollection in NBA history, the Dallas Mavericks, who were in the play-in, were they not? Weren't they the 10 or the 9? Win it? And now they get to, by the way, if you're Cooper Flagg, you're doing cartwheels. I don't know if there's a better position. It's either that or probably San Antonio would have been the top choice to play with Wemby and all that. But he gets to live in Dallas. He gets to go to a team that was, if Kyrie Irving doesn't get hurt, if Anthony Davis isn't hurt, now he's the third wheel on that team. He gets to kind of ease into his NBA career, all the while playing in Dallas for a franchise that historically, under the Cuban ownership, I know it's different now, has spent and relentlessly tried to pursue betterment. I mean, this is all conspiracy, Eric. It has to be. I mean, I'm not conspiracy Bo, but I went, okay, well, come on.
Big fan of what the NBA does with their draft lottery and making people believe that it's legitimate, because you ripped off a bunch of super important dates in NBA, super important things in NBA history that you had to manufacture. They worked out. They worked out for, I think, Knicks fans with Patrick Ewing. Certainly worked out for the Cleveland Cavaliers with LeBron, and then you get Kyrie. And, yeah, the NBA can try to do whatever it can, but the Anthony Bennett, sometimes you just make bad decisions.
But wasn't a great draft either that year. I think that's the Giannis draft, but like a lot of and he didn't go till like the teens. Like a lot of the guys were bums early.
I am interested to see, because Cooper Flagg will be eligible for that Supermax extension, if Dallas is still in Dallas.
I think they probably will be. I don't know if anybody leaves Dallas.
Cooper Flagg in Vegas, huh?
Are we saying here that maybe the NBA told Nico Harrison to trade Luka to give them a bunch of things to talk about in the season, and then they gave him the number 1 pick for it?
Listen, let's just stay in conspiracy world for a second. It is known the Dallas Mavericks did not have an open bidding for Luka. Nobody else in the league knew that he was available. Think about that. If you were going to get rid of your most prized asset, Bake, let's say you're going to get rid of your most prized asset, and it's worth something to everyone. Would you only call Reese and then accept whatever he offers, or would you shop it around?
Doesn't make a lot of sense, does it?
No, it makes no damn sense. And I don't. And, Chris laughed at it because he was thinking the same thing, and he's talked to people who've been in those rooms, and the Cavaliers have been very fortunate through the years of being in those rooms and winning the draft in a very, very big way. But at the same time, it's so overwhelming.
It does. The first thing I thought of last night is, usually the ball doesn't lie, right? And I felt like somebody that makes that boneheaded of a decision that they did with Luka shouldn't get rewarded for it. Also, we've been talking about this. Get Up has had on the screen the whole time we've been talking about this.
Yeah.
The worst team in the NBA has not picked one in 7 straight seasons. So the team with the best odds to win the draft for 7 straight years now hasn't won the lottery.
Well, does the lottery not discourage tanking?
Yeah, then I guess it's doing its job. That is the job of it. You think about how long Washington's been bad, how long Utah's been bad. This is what they were banking on, and then they didn't get it. By the way, San Antonio's a pretty big winner here, too. They're going to pair Ace Bailey or Dylan Harper. By the way, those guys both played at Rutgers, and they didn't even make the tournament. Think about that. But it was, I don't know. I'm not usually conspiracy Bo, but that was a lot going on to get him to Dallas. I'm thrilled for him. I mean, like, what a great landing spot. The only place better is probably San Antonio, but he's going to thrive in Dallas in every possible way, on the court and off. Second hour of the program coming up next. Uncle Dommy going to join us at 10:30. We begin it with the real truth and honestly news that you just were hoping you would not have to hear, but did kind of seem inevitable. We'll get to that coming up next. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
All the Ohio State conversation you can handle. The Buckeye Show.
Weeknights at 6.
Your Ohio State flagship station. The Fan.
Huntington is banking that just clicks. Like asterisk-free checking. An account that's filled with features, but no monthly maintenance fee, no matter what. Because it's your money, right? So we think you should keep it. It's just one more way we're looking out for people every day. Is your bank looking out for you? Maybe it's time to switch. Visit your neighborhood Huntington branch or make the switch at huntington.com/yourmoney.
Are you ready for the ultimate entertainment experience? It's all here, only with Spectrum TV Select. Popular apps are included: Disney Plus, Max, Peacock Premium, Paramount Plus, AMC Plus, and more. And live TV for sports, entertainment, and news. Enjoy across your devices no matter when or where you are. Get Spectrum TV Select and start streaming your favorites today. It's all here. Visit spectrum.com/entertainment. Restrictions apply.
Hardscape Pros, are you tired of working with broken down tools and chasing paychecks? At 9 Trees, we respect your craft, invest in the best equipment, and back our crews with full benefits and top pay. We're not just offering you a job, we're offering you a career. If you're a seasoned pro, work with a top patio builder that treats you like family. Call 9 Trees at 614-921-9595 or visit 9treeslc.com to apply. 9 Trees Landscape Construction. The best reputation, the best compensation.
AmeriHealth Caritas Ohio is your Medicaid plan for more benefits, more rewards. We know that good health means more than just seeing a doctor when you're sick. Eligible members can receive extras like home-delivered meals and family essentials, like baby carriers and kids' school supplies. Members can even earn rewards for playing mobile health trivia games. Learn more at AmeriHealthCaritasoh.com and call the Ohio Medicaid Consumer Hotline at 1-800-324-8680 to choose AmeriHealth Caritas Ohio.
Get Eco.
Aaron, which brand of air conditioner is the most energy efficient?
It's the one that's had its outside coils cleaned correctly.
Well, I can wash those off with a garden hose, right?
No.
Why not?
Humidity mixes with dust and pollen to create a microthin film of sticky paste that gets baked onto those hot outside coils.
And that baked-on stuff keeps my coils from releasing their heat into the atmosphere.
Which means your system has to run longer, which uses a lot more energy and it shortens the life of your air conditioner.
Get Eco.
How do we get that baked-on stuff off?
Remove the exterior shroud, then spray the coils from the inside out with a special eco-friendly solvent.
Can I rinse the solvent off with a garden hose?
Yeah, but only from the inside out.
Or I could just pay Eco to do it.
Get Eco.
Eco doesn't take shortcuts. We do it the right way every time.
Get Eco Professional Coil Cleaning for just $468.
At Uline, the prevailing opinion is, if you don't live it, you don't believe it. The people at Uline believe in hard work, and they live it by being there 24/7 to answer your call, having 41,000 items in stock, and offering same-day shipping from 12 locations across North America. Business owners, sellers, buyers, shippers, and packers believe it. Uline is the hard-working, dependable source for your shipping and industrial supplies. Visit uline.com.
At Metal Supermarkets, we're all about getting you and your crew to quit in time sooner. That's why our service is a cut above. You see, no matter the project, we'll get you to the right metal, shape, and grade. Cut to any size, ready real fast. And yeah, we'll deliver. Leaving plenty of time for the important things, like opening an ice-cold can of aluminum. Metal Supermarkets, the convenience store for metal.
This is the story of the one. As a safety manager at a manufacturing plant, he does everything he can to keep his coworkers safe. From finding ways to reduce risks to keeping safety supplies in stock. And for that, he relies on Grainger, Grainger offers a broad range of quality products and next-day delivery, so he can always play it safe. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
The playoffs are in full swing, and you can get in on all the action at ESPN Bet Sportsbook. Go from tracking the latest game-changing moments to placing bets in just a few taps. Right now, new customers can get $100 in bonus bets when you make your first $10 wager. Download the ESPN Bet Sportsbook app and sign up with promo code USL to get started today. Must be 21 or older. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Terms and conditions apply. See app for details. Offer not available in New York.
Broadcasting from the Lindsay Honda Studios.
Honda makes the cars. Lindsay makes the difference. Visit lindsayhonda.com.
WBNS-FM, HD1 Columbus. The Fan. Sports Center.
Good morning. I'm Eric Reeser. The NFL schedule release is happening tomorrow, but several games have already been announced, including the international slate of games. The Browns will play the Vikings Week 5 in London. That's Sunday, October 5th at 9:30 in the morning. The game will be played at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. 1 week prior, the Vikings play the Steelers in Dublin, Ireland. Minnesota is going to be the first NFL team to play back-to-back international games in different countries, for whatever that's worth. In the NBA, the Dallas Mavericks won the Cooper Flag sweepstakes. Mavericks had a 1.8% chance to win the draft lottery. They'll likely use the number 1 pick on the superstar from Duke. On the court tonight, the Cavs face elimination, hosting the Pacers in Game 5 of the Eastern Conference semis. Tip-off from Cleveland is 7 p.m. This update sponsored by Dr. Mark Levy. If you're snoring and not sleeping, call Dr. Mark Levy's office at 1-800-MORE-SLEEP. That's 1-800-MORE-SLEEP, or visit him online at sleepbettercolumbus.com.
The uncle you never knew you had. The friends you kind of wish you didn't. This is Bishop and Friends.
All right, second hour on a Tuesday edition of the program. Time for The Real Truth. Hit it, fellas.
Bishop and Friends present The Real Truth.
Sponsored by Diamond Cellar. Over 76 years of experience and guaranteed lowest prices on Sawmill Road or diamondcellar.com.
Browns linebacker Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah will not play another down in the National Football League. Is that the real truth?
It's heartbreaking to see this yesterday afternoon. The Browns releasing the information and Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah releasing a statement. Look, I connected dots as soon as I saw Carson Schlesinger going at the top of the second round. And I went, well, this is a team that usually with their first and second round picks, they are looking for game-changing positions, and linebacker historically is in a game-changing position. Not to say that Schlesinger is not going to be great. I think it's very possible that he is. He looked great at rookie minicamp. But the first thing I thought of is there's got to be a great deal of uncertainty around JOK. Now, this has been something that has been swirling for a long time. This is the first time that there's been anything public on it. Anytime Andrew Berry, Kevin Stefanski are asked about it, they play it very close to the vest, as is typical for them. But there were enough whispers out there about this and the severity of the neck injury and the stakes with which he would potentially have to play the rest of his NFL career with had he chose to play. So I thought that this felt pretty inevitable for much of the offseason. Is it the real truth that he will not play another down in the NFL? My hunch is yes. That's not scores at all. That's just common sense, kind of. And my hunch is, and even in his statement, it kind of reads like he's done. I'm sure he doesn't want to close the door on it completely, and I'm sure he's looking for some other options out there that could be out there in terms of finding a way for him to play. But at the same time, he's a really diversified dude. He's one of the smartest, most interesting guys I've ever been around. The thing that sucks, among other things for him personally, but for the team as well, is he was playing at an all-pro level last year before this injury. Like, he very likely would have been an all-pro linebacker. And so, unfortunately, I think that this probably is the real truth and that his NFL career is probably done.
So this is a pay attention to the scores type thing for me, because I feel like this is something, Bo, that you have been kind of saying was a serious issue for a long time. Yeah. And then, as you said, when the Browns took Schlesinger at the top of the second round, it was like, well, maybe this isn't just a one-year thing, right? Because if it was a one-year thing, you could plug and play with someone in free agency possibly and get through the year, but you're drafting Schlesinger to be here for 10 years, you hope, and be a starting linebacker for 10 years at that spot. So, yeah, I would say, unfortunately, with the nature of that game and the physicality of it and the position he plays where he's flying around all the time, and those hits are not normal hits. Those are big-time collisions that he's taking he's causing basically as a linebacker. I would say it's probably a good chance he's played his last down of football.
Giannis Antetokounmpo will not play another game for the Milwaukee Bucks. Is that the real truth?
So if you were Milwaukee, would you, and San Antonio offered you 2 for him, would you take it?
I need a 2 and next year's 1.
Because I don't think Dallas is not going to try. I don't think they would do it, would trade 1 for Giannis.
But they wouldn't trade Luka for Anthony Davis either, would they?
No.
Who would do that?
Yeah.
Only a dummy.
I think there's to me, like, San Antonio, now I don't know if he would want to play there. I think Milwaukee would want to do right for him. I'm going to say it's not the real truth. I think he will play for Milwaukee next year. I don't think a deal gets done. But quite honestly, the results of yesterday's draft lottery pique my interest more for the possibilities here, right? Like, even Philly, like, does Philly, I don't think he'd want to play there, but even Philly sitting there at 3, if they were to trade the 3 and pieces, is that something? There are now teams that could bring on Giannis that with the addition of Giannis would put them and make them intriguing in terms of winning a championship. That this was not the case a week ago. It was not the case yesterday when you thought the draft was going to go, some combination of Charlotte, Utah, and Washington. It didn't. So now you have teams that are really close who are going to pick at the top 3 of what's considered even beyond Flag as a really good draft. I think there's a chance that he could go to one of those 3 teams. He can't get to L.A. I see no scenario for that. I don't think the Knicks would want to break up their core because it feels like that one's pretty good, and the Miami situation's not great. So, like, there actually are places for him to go now because of what happened yesterday in the lottery, but I still think he'll be a Buck at least for one more year.
It's hard to imagine that the Milwaukee Bucks would trade him. But, man, there's been a lot of smoke on this for a while. And back with the original smoke, if I remember correctly, the San Antonio Spurs were one of the teams wanting to pair Giannis with Victor Wembanyama. Yeah. His agent is looking for teams, and I just have a feeling, as crazy as this is, we're going to see Luka and Giannis get traded in the same year.
Connor McDavid and the Edmonton Oilers will win a Stanley Cup. Is that the real truth?
So they're up 3-1.
3-1 over Vegas.
They're up 3-1 on Vegas. Dallas is up 2-1 in the other side of the West. And even if it's the Jets, I like the Oilers' chances there. They've been heading towards this, right? I mean, they were into a Game 7 last year. They were on the precipice of it. It feels like things are going their way so far. And Stanley Cup playoffs are a game of momentum, certainly. I like all the momentum that they have. You try to think, like, who on the other side would push back. I think the team that they would least like to play probably again would be Florida. Florida now even that series up with Toronto, provided Edmonton's able to get there. But what the hell? Let's live a little on a Tuesday. Yeah, I think the Oilers do hang a banner, and I think they win the Stanley Cup this year. Why not?
I do not think this is the real truth because I still think whoever wins the East, and I think that's going to be Florida or Carolina, is the better overall team. I just don't think that Edmonton has the goaltending to do it. Stuart Skinner was great last night. Calvin Pickard, there's some injuries with him right now. He's done for at least this series against Vegas, they're saying. I think he's 6-0 in the playoffs this year, so he's been really good. And we know if you get a goalie that gets hot, you can go far. But I still just don't trust the goaltending at Edmonton. I still think this is Florida's cup to lose. So I don't think it's the real truth.
What if it's Toronto? Somehow.
Then McDavid has to. If he gets Toronto somehow, he has to.
Yeah.
Gosh, could you imagine that? Toronto and Edmonton for the Cup?
Oh, my God. The atmospheres would be electric factories. Both.
Ohio State and Texas on August 30th will not be a noon game. Is that the real truth?
So led the show with this. I'm feeling optimistic despite the rain on a Tuesday. I'm going to say it is the real truth, that it will not be a noon game, that they will find a workaround somehow to get that game at night. I think it matters that much to Ohio State. And I think Ohio State has been a good soldier in that noon slot for Fox for a long time. They took the money. I get it. But Ohio State basically carries the time slot forever. I mean, the amount of nonsense games we've played at noon, let alone the important games. They've wrecked the Penn State series. You can't play that game at night anymore because they always gobble that up. So I don't know. What I outlined at the top of the show was that I could not get it confirmed at noon, and I also, through the various folks I talked to, made it seem like that there's still a chance. So I'm going to roll optimism here, and I'm going to say that this is the real truth, that it will not be a noon game somehow, some way.
There is no way that the first time 1 versus 2 opens a college football season that game is going to be played at noon. There is too much money, too many incentives for everyone involved in this to have this be the primetime game on that Saturday night to open college football. So this is the real truth. Texas, Ohio State will not be at noon. It cannot happen. And I don't hate noon games, but this is a primetime, big-time matchup.
When it's number 1 versus number 2. It's just... No, I mean, I think by and large they're fine. We'll get into how much water Ohio State has to carry for the Big Ten coming up in the 11 o'clock hour, and if there is a way for there to be some sort of pushback. One of the other things that we talk about a lot is if there can ever be some sort of conversation between the Big Ten and the SEC, those who are running college football and the NFL. Hey, do us a solid. Can you give us some December Saturdays? Roger Goodell so far says no. Not only can you not have Saturdays, I'm going to dominate you on Saturdays. The NFL schedule, part of it has been released today. We will go over the very latest spitting in the face, Roger, to college football's universe coming up next. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
We used to have a billboard with our host's face on it, but only ugly people work here now.
You mama say you ugly, hey!
The Fan, Ohio's sports destination.
For over 78 years, our family's been part of your love stories. At Diamond Seller, we offer bigger diamonds, better prices, and timeless designs for every chapter of your life. From your first yes to your forever I do, trust the jeweler who knows diamonds best. Visit Diamond Seller today.
Summer's just around the corner. Are you ready to hit the road in style? At Germain Toyota, the adventure starts now with the 2025 Toyota Tundra. Rugged, reliable, and built to take on anything summer throws your way. Drive off in a new Tundra with 1.99 APR for 48 months. That's right, low financing, high performance, and a season full of possibilities. Hurry into Germain Toyota. Germain Toyota on the corner of I-70 and Bryce Road or online at germaintoyota.net. 1.99 APR for 48 months with approved credit. See dealer for details.
Working your way through that honey-do list? That means more flushes, more showers, more fiddling with the thermostat. Trust the pros at the Waterworks with your plumbing and drain cleanings and repairs and all your heating and cooling needs. Our certified pros can repair or replace your furnace or air conditioner. Clogs? Call the Waterworks. Drain cleaning? Call the Waterworks. Plumbing issues? Call the Waterworks. Furnace repairs? Call the Waterworks. The Waterworks. Trusted neighborhood plumbing, drain, heating, and cooling experts.
Guys, don't waste your time and money with low-quality online TRT that charges you over $100 just to start. Visit our TRT experts at Low T Center today for a free consultation and free test. Treatment is personalized to your body, and most major insurance is accepted. With the freedom to choose if you want in-center care or at-home treatment, you're in control of your health. Looking to lose weight? Get a free B12 shot when you start prescription treatment. Offer is limited, so book now at fixmylowt.com. fixmylowt.com.
Boating season is finally here, and Buckeye Lake Marina is your go-to destination for all your on-the-water needs. With the largest inventory in Central Ohio, you can choose from top brands like Bennington, South Bay, Crown Line, and more. Buckeye Lake Marina has it all. Pontoon boats, luxury tri-toon boats, even merch. Open 7 days a week to serve you better. Find your next dream boat at Buckeye Lake Marina. Visit BuckeyeLakeMarina.com today for all your on-the-water needs. The good life, the lake life, starts at Buckeye Lake Marina.
Hey folks, Austin Ward here with an opportunity to lose 40 by the 4th. Yes, pounds, and why not? I dropped my first 40 in just 8 weeks. It was easy, and it will be easy for you too. Take the medication-free and lasting approach. Awaken180weightloss.com.
Newman Roofing, as part of their 2025 Commitment to Community initiative, is proud to partner with 10TV and The Fan to launch Raise the Roof, honoring local heroes who are going above and beyond in their communities. Newman Roofing wants to recognize the volunteers, educators, first responders, and everyday difference makers who are making a meaningful impact in their towns to be recognized on 10TV and The Fan. Stay tuned as we begin announcing the selected honorees who truly embody the spirit of Newman Roofing's commitment to community.
The Buckeyes are national champions. And you listen to it all right here on The Fan. And next year when they do it again, it'll be here on The Fan. And the year after that, well, you know the drill. Always and forever, your home of the Buckeyes. The Fan.
Hello, it's John Kozik, founder and president of TurboTrack Realty. Do you want to sell your property, however, you need a little help getting through the process? Let's say you have years of belongings in the home. It needs a lot of updating, you're overwhelmed, and you may need help finding a place to go. I will help you. Visit us today at TurboTrackRealty.com or call me now for an all-cash offer and, more importantly, the help you need at 614-470-2000, 614-470-2000.
And now, Public Education Matters with Ohio Education Association President Scott Tomorrow.
90% of students in Ohio and 95% of students with disabilities learn and grow in our public schools. Our lawmakers must keep their promise to our kids by using the Fair School Funding Plan's predictable, adequate funding formula in this budget so our students can get the great public education they deserve.
Public Education Matters, brought to you by the Ohio Education Association.
Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
Temperatures today getting up into the mid-70s and cloudy to mostly cloudy skies. However, we still have chances of showers and thunderstorms, some which could be heavy downpours and gusty winds at times. For tonight, those chances continue with lows right around 60. And for Wednesday, we warm into the upper 70s with rain and storm chances still lingering. For the Fan, I'm meteorologist Meredith Garfalo with your 10 weather impact forecast.
1, 2, 3. Here at The Fan is always football o'clock. Proud to be your home of the Buckeyes, Browns, and all the NFL games you can handle. The Fan. Find us on YouTube. Search WBNS Radio and you can see what Bo looks like. But only if you subscribe. This is Bishop and Friends.
Indeed it is, and we are sponsored by Diamond Seller, your true jeweler, for over 78 years. Well, the NFL has turned everything into a television show. They've been doing this since they launched the NFL Network, and the big thing this week will be the schedule reveal. Now, what I don't understand about all of this, and I think it's a lot of pomp and circumstance for not much kind of on the get back, you already know who you're going to play. Like, the opponents are known. It's just a matter of how they slot in. And so they've slowly leaked out some of the stuff today, including the international games, which have been released. We know that the Browns are going to play the Vikings. That game will be in early October in London, a game you'll be able to listen to right here on The Fan. The Vikings are in this odd spot where they're going to play 2 games back-to-back. They're going to play in Dublin, and then the next week they're going to play in London against the they play the Steelers, right? Is it Steelers in Dublin, I think? Because Rooney was
Correct.
an ambassador.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, Steelers the week before, then the Browns.
Yeah.
That's got to stink for Vikings fans. I would think. Back-to-back weeks.
Not ideal.
Because then would they get the bye week following those 2 weeks? Or before those 2 weeks?
Yeah, they can. I'm curious, honestly, what Cleveland does coming out of theirs. Do they use it the next week coming out of London, or do you save it for later in the year? Because they can have some say in that. If you go play a game overseas, you can get a little bit of something back on the other end in terms of how you're using your bye week. Here's what we know. The NFL is going to have a doubleheader opposite the college football playoffs on December 20th. So what I had, and boy, they did this last time, remember? They said, can we interest you in C.J. Stroud versus Patrick Mahomes and Lamar versus the Steelers? And they did. And now there is this second issue here where the December 20th is circled as a college football playoff date, and the NFL says, can we interest you in Eagles at Commies and Packers and Bears? So they're not just playing opposite college football, they're playing the hits opposite college football. And I have been told, I talk to Paul about this every Thursday, not every Thursday, but we talk about it a lot. Is there anybody who can get in front of Goodell and have him be open-minded about Saturdays in December? And it feels like the answer to that is no. Because it's the second year of the college football playoff, and it's the second year that the NFL said, hey, little fellas, you go sit in the corner because we're going to obliterate you for December. I do not understand why the NFL does not do a better job of embracing the greatest minor league in the history of sports. Like, this isn't a big ask. We'll pay for the players. We will pay for the development. You don't have to pay a cent on any of it. There's plenty of money to go around. All we ask for in return is you give us December Saturdays. That's it. That's it. Do us a solid so we can keep developing ready-made stars. So a fifth-round pick out of Colorado can have the number one selling jersey in the National Football League. Why do you think that is? Because he's a star. Why do you think Johnny Manziel did? Why do you think Baker Mayfield did? Because they're stars. Bryce Young is a star coming out. You're drafting ready-made stars in Cincinnati when you draft Joe Burrow.
So
you don't have to introduce the fan base to Joe Burrow. They all know him.
There's a Goosebumps book called The Blob That Ate Everyone.
Yeah.
And that's what the NFL is. And there's no reasoning with the blob that eats everyone.
They've got to talk some sense. Give us one. Give us a favor.
I just think over the last 5, 10, 15, 20 years, you've seen that they're not interested in doing any of these things.
No, they're not. They're not. And I don't understand why they're not. I mean, they're doing the same thing we're doing with Big Noon. That's what the money's for. They took all this money from Amazon Prime and for all these television partners, and they want exclusivity in windows, and they want to obliterate. And so that's why you're getting Black Friday on Amazon Prime. That's what that's about. Bears, Eagles.
It's the NFL owners don't want to give up anything, because to give up anything would leave a little slightly less for them. And Goodell's an employee of the NFL owners.
Yeah.
And Jerry Jones isn't going to acquiesce because he wants to dominate everything. And you extrapolate that amongst the other 31 owners in the league. They're not interested in doing any business with anybody but themselves. And Goodell's their guy, and they're telling him the marching orders, and they're saying, no, you're not meeting with any of these things.
But when you've got $100 billion, you want $101 billion.
I guess. I think if I would like to think that if I were in that spot, I would see that I have this gravy train that is, there's nothing else like it in sport, guys, where the second most popular sport in a given country is an essential minor league for the most popular sport in the country. That's the setup. And by the way, the NFL doesn't have to pay a cent for any of it. Nothing. Dom will come on here in 7 minutes and he's going to talk about the NFL subsidizing college football so they can pay NIL. They're not going to do it. They're not going to give you a single cent. But you think at the very least you could just say, fine, we'll stay off of Saturdays. We'll stay off of the Saturdays. Give us a couple of them. And I do think when college football gets its calendar right, that has to be a conversation that needs to take place. The calendar's backwards now. It's ridiculous that college football is going. And maybe that's the thing. Maybe the trade is college football says, we'll be done. We're going to play our national championship game on the I wish it wasn't a Monday. I wish it was a Saturday. But we can't have everything that we like, apparently. So give me the national championship game the second Monday in January. We'll be out of your hair by then. All done.
Bo, maybe the NFL's argument to that is we give you Saturdays until December.
Well, they have to.
You know,
because of the federal law.
I understand, but
do you remember that? They can't play on Saturdays until, is it the second week in December, I think? Because they can't play Army-Navy weekend either. So you're protected up until a certain date. There's a date where they cannot play Saturday games.
And I'm guessing that'll be their argument, right? Like, you guys get it till then we can do what we want. You guys figure out a way to go around it. And I think that's the big thing here with college football. And it's something that we've obviously talked about forever on this show is college football has got to figure out a calendar and a way to not go up against these NFL games.
Yeah, the onus has to be on the college football decision makers.
So if you were college football and you were trying to avoid this, when would you play?
I'm starting in the beginning of August, and if I'm insistent on a 16-game college football playoff, then I'm ending before or on New Year's Day.
Yeah, I'm all for moving it up a week, and I think you could even go 2. I still think you're going to be like. So I think it's the second weekend when they can start playing. At that point, is it a situation where do you play on Friday nights and Monday nights? I mean, Monday night's going to be Monday Night Football, so you can't do that. So you play Friday night, Thursday and Friday night in college football playoffs? 1 at 6, 1 at 9 in December? I don't know. Or do you just say the hell with it and we'll just go head-to-head with the NFL and we'll get a less share? That's the position they're in. This is the thing that's so frustrating as football fans. This stuff feels so fixable, but the damn greed is so immense for every drop of blood to be squeezed that there's no sense in any of it. Why did that college football playoff Saturday have to go head-to-head with the NFL? Why are you going to go head-to-head with the NFL for the entire month of January from an intention standpoint? Guys, the national championship is isn't it like January 20-something?
19th to 20th, I think, of this year, yeah. Or
and then it's
will
back
be 2026.
27th next year, I believe.
January 27th? I mean, you want to talk about playing in a cupboard. Not even a closet. From an attention standpoint, you're going to go head-to-head with the NFL in the entire month of January? Come on. Let's have some sense. This shouldn't be that hard to get this done. Give you a full list of all of the they have released all of the overseas games. I mean, they're playing in Madrid. They're going back to Brazil. They're going back to Brazil for the Chargers will be in that game. Then they got the games in Dublin that we mentioned, game in England between the Vikings and the Browns. They're in London several times, and then Berlin and Madrid. So the NFL is trying their best to find new markets and new places. The one that you'd be most excited about, I mean, that's the Bernabeu. That's Real Madrid. That's Miami against Washington, Real Madrid. That's about as good as it gets. That's probably the most technologically advanced stadium on the planet. So that would be a pretty cool one to play in. Go ahead, Rose.
I know the Brazil game at the Corinthians Arena is TBD against the Chargers, but USA Today says it'll be the Chiefs.
All right, that makes sense. So they go back down there for that. I'm not sure how that one went with Philly, that if it mattered or not. I do remember if you went down there, you had to stay in your hotels and kind of be quarantined for safety. So we'll see.
A lot of Philly. We're going to see a lot of Philly in these games this year, too. I guess you win the Super Bowl, you get a lot of the prime time.
Big market, incredible fan base, all of those things track, certainly. Certainly a big fan base for our next guest. Tuesdays with Tiberi in 2 minutes. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
There's a new way to surround yourself with savings at Giant Eagle and Market District. Shop Giant Eagle's uncompromising quality at a reliable price with everyday savings. Look for signs throughout the store to find bargains on produce, meat, and more. At Giant Eagle, we combine exceptional customer service and quality foods, all at great value to make the most of your shopping trip. Visit Giant Eagle or Market District today to see how easy it is to save.
Get Eco.
ECO. Aaron, I love that we fix ACs for free.
I don't think we do that, Jerry.
Get Eco.
ECO. Stay with me, Aaron. I'm going to explain to you how it works.
You're going to explain to me how my own invention works?
Get Eco.
ECO. Step 1. Some other HVAC company tells a customer that they need a whole new system.
Yes.
And then they call us.
They can always call us, Jerry.
Get Eco.
ECO. And then we repair their system for free.
No, then they pay us.
But we give the money back, right?
We give them back all the money they paid us to fix their old system when they finally do need a new one.
Up to $1,500, right?
Right.
Aaron, we're fixing HVAC systems for free.
Get Eco.
ECO.
We extend the life of their system.
That's right.
Those extra years are free. On me.
Get Eco.
ECO. Eco. Plumbers, electricians, and HVAC technicians. GetEco.com.
Hey, it's Anthony from my friends at the Honda dealership here in Central Ohio, Germain Honda of Dublin. You know the brand, you know the reliability and the styling. Now get to know the deals. Grab a new 25 Honda HR-V, a 25 Accord SE, or even a 25 CR-V LX all-wheel drive for 0% up to 36 months. Talk to my man Rich. Get the right vehicle, the right deal at the right dealer. Germain Honda of Dublin on Sawmill Road just south of 270.
Bishop and Friends is sponsored by Diamond Seller, your true jeweler for over 75 years. The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
Bishop and Friends present Tuesdays with Tiberi.
Oh, indeed it is. Tuesday at 10:30, little Tuesdays with Tiberi. What do you make of noon kicks?
Well, they're very popular if you're Ohio State and they're on Fox, right? That's the everybody likes night games, but Fox paid a lot of money and they like noon kicks, big noon kickoff. So it's here to stay. Listen, TV dictates everything. You know that.
That's what the money's for, buddy.
Show me the money, and the ratings are amazing. It's just interesting to see where we are in this whole world when it comes to college football. It's professional football now.
That's all it is. Yeah,
and that's what you're dealing with.
So I'm not sure if you've tracked this down or not, but one thing that so Fox announced yesterday, like the Texas game and the Michigan game, but they didn't put a time on it. They didn't put noon on it. They didn't promote it as big noon. They just left the graphic blank.
Well, Michigan will be noon.
For sure.
You're not going to play.
I'm not worried about that.
Yeah.
That's fine. But one thing that I started making some calls last night about, is it possible that the Texas game could still be something other than noon? And the feeling I got back from the people I talked to is that they're trying, that there's an effort, because everybody knows nobody wants to play that game on October 30th at noon in that heat.
No, I know that.
And not have that environment. So
I agree.
Do you think there's a way out of it, or do you think it's going to be on Fox, but is it possible to play in a different time slot on Fox that's Labor Day weekend? Could it be Friday? Could it be Sunday? Could it be Monday?
I think everything is open, but I think there are druthers if you're Fox and they're saying, hey, look at how many millions we've paid for this. This is our noon kick. Unfortunately, that's the world we live in right now. They're dictating that. And, a lot of people thought ESPN would hold everything. I actually like the model they're going with, that eventually the playoffs and it's an NFL model where you have all the different networks. ESPN wanted to own all of it. Mm-hmm. And this is what you get.
You think
But they paid a lot of money, Bo.
I know it. This is the thing, though. Like, the brunt of this falls at the feet of Ohio State more than anybody else. How many games have we played Big Noon National where the opponent is nonsense, but because it's Ohio State and it's going to rate, you have to carry kind of that whole time slot. We've played more Big Noon games than anybody else by a wide margin, and it's something that, like, the fan base is, quite honestly, a little bit tired of. They've kind of wrecked the Penn State game with this by making it a noon game all the time, and that was always traditionally at night, which was a lot of fun. And you get those atmospheres. And Ross Bjork is in this position where he's got to have this balancing act. This is an agreement he did not agree to. He wasn't the AD at the time. They're stuck with it. The money's nice. But also, like, is there a way for Ohio State to push back and say, yeah, we understand that we're the flag bearer, but at the same time, like, do us a solid here.
What you just said is the key, the flag bearer. Ohio State is the Big Ten.
Yeah.
And when they went with this model, and when Fox came in and got the Big Ten, and they went with this model, Ohio State was the property. Mm-hmm. And they turned televisions on. And they're going to always turn televisions on. And that's what Fox is looking at. This is when they make their hay. And, I feel bad for Ross. I feel bad for Buckeye Nation. But I don't know how you get out of it, because they signed this deal. This is what they have. And this is what I agree. There's nothing like a night game. Should Ohio State and Texas be a night game? Absolutely.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I have no belief that they're going to work anything out, because I just think that they're going to say, listen, we paid all this money. This is our premier show, which it is. You know, you got Urban, you got all those guys tied into it, and that's what they do. And I think it's amazing, because what is old is new again. You know, we used to play noon kicks when Woody was here. I mean, the games were at noon. And
oh, yeah, for sure.
You know, I mean, so you went back, and I understand what they're doing. The days get over quick and all that. It would be more of a moneymaker, I think, for Ohio State if you dragged it out all day. Just, you know, you think about all that. And, you know, Ross, I'm sure he's in a pickle, because he's hearing from the fans. He knows they want to see night games and whatever. But I just don't know how you fix this until the next TV contract comes up.
Yeah, I don't envy him. I like him a lot. I know you like him as well.
Oh, yeah, he's great.
He's in a tough spot because he has to find money, right?
Right.
Because they're not giving back their salaries, right? So they have to find a way to create new money. So basically, it's like you and I at Muirfield. If it's not bolted down, we're stealing it, or we're selling it in this case. And they're going to sell everything. I mean, I think it's in play that they'll sell the naming rights to Ohio State, Michigan, sell the naming rights to the stadium. Anything that they can sell, they probably will, because that's the economics of the business right now. How difficult is that job? You've grown up here your whole life. You've been around Ohio State football for your entire professional career. There is a balance, I think, between trying to maximize what it can be profitable, but also make it still touchable for the common man in the state. It's a tough needle to thread, is it not?
Yeah, and I don't know how this ends. And here's the frustrating part. We can go back and say, well, they should have got ahead of this a long time ago, and they kept kicking the can, and now look at where we're at. And you're absolutely right. I mean, Ross was brought here because, you know, he's got to clean some stuff up, and he's got to try to help Ohio State have a bigger speaker. I mean, Ohio State is the Big Ten. I mean, Ohio State has carried this league.
Yeah.
And so the disappointing thing to me is we're in this situation, and I just don't, and we've talked in the past, I just don't think any of this is sustainable. And, you know, you're looking, you know, you see now President Trump is talking about creating a commission. Mm-hmm. And, you know, Bake had the greatest line, I want my potholes fixed. I mean, do we really want the federal government getting involved in college football? But that's what they want, because they know they're sitting on Pandora's box. And once again, to me, they're kicking the can down, because the players will have all the rights. We're only talking about football and to basketball for us, you know, what we're talking about mainly. And we're only talking about, you know, the majority of Division I football programs lose money. But it's these superpowers, the Ohio States and all this. And some of the clubs that are in, I don't even know that they can compete. But to me, is it sustainable to keep going back and asking for money? And you're right, everything's going to be for sale. Practices, they're going to be opening up, selling more practices, because you've got to keep feeding the beast. And I don't know where it ends. I mean, you don't think collective bargaining's coming eventually? They know that. It's coming.
I think that would save it. I think nobody wants to call it pro sports, and so they keep trying to. I think that's why they want the federal government. They're hoping that that's the olive branch. You know, that's the life preserver, the get out of jail free card is, well, if they can fix it, then we don't have to. But the only thing, and I don't think any of that will hold up in a court of law. We've seen that.
I mean, it's like they're hoping this house settlement is going to set.
It's not going to do anything.
And all that does is take care of one little bit. Then, you know, if you give some to those guys, everybody else, you think the lawsuits are going to ever end? Mm-hmm. What about the guys that were here in 2002? What about? It is I don't know how it gets fixed. I don't know how it gets solved, but it is so popular. Mm-hmm. And, you know, and now it looks like they're going to go head on with the NFL, which I don't know. But, you know, don't get me going on the NFL. They're very popular, but they've never paid their price for having a free farm system.
They're never gonna, but I do think I'm hopeful that somebody powerful in college football could reason with them and say, hey, give us December Saturdays, and we'll have this thing done by the first weekend in January. To me, that is a common sense. You're never going to get Goodell to write a check. You're never going to get NFL teams to subsidize. I agree with you on the farm system. It's unbelievable. But at the same time, you're never going to get them to compensate you financially for their product. But maybe they'll stay out of your way so you can conduct a playoff that's away from the NFL. Because right now, Goodell's just throwing haymakers at you. He's putting his best matchups on your quarterfinal days.
I mean, think about it. They have got the sweetest deal there is. They allow these colleges, and you saw what the NFL draft is like. There's no draft that. Nothing. And these guys are household names. I mean, Jeremiah Smith, when he goes, I mean, he will be one of the most known players in the United States, and Ohio State will make, and the NFL will pay for none of his development. None of his development.
Yeah.
You look at Major League Baseball, what the money they spend, or hockey and all that stuff. I mean, it is amazing. And I always go back to this. Think about this. When Maurice Clarett challenged and got the court agreed that he should be allowed to work, it was the NFL that appealed it in the Southern District of New York. Come on.
Of course they did.
Come on.
They know where to go.
Yeah.
They know exactly where they're going. Yeah, they're never going to lose in the Southern District of New York.
No.
It's as simple as that. They're going to win that every single time, buddy.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, good talking to you as always, my friend.
Did you have a nice Mother's Day with the wife?
I basically became a 48-hour honeydew list.
Yeah, well, that's good.
Which is good. So made brunch, made dinner.
Yeah.
We were supposed to travel, so that was a last-minute thing, so I had to kind of like pivot on the fly and make things work, but I think we did okay.
I saw a story. Next year, I think what you and I should do, I had it on the air last night.
Give it to me.
We should take our brides to Alaska for Mother's Day and take them to the Musk Ox Ranch. It is like a tradition in Alaska.
Musk?
Yeah, the Musk Ox is a descendant of the goats and sheeps. They're not of the bovine family, which you're familiar. But you go and they stink. And they had 15,000 people. It's like a tradition. Boy, they got to get a hobby in Alaska if they think. Wow. Could you imagine if you said to your blonde, beautiful wife, "Hey, honey, for Mother's Day, we're going to go to Alaska, and we're going to go smell some muskox."
Oh my God!
Could you imagine that?
No, I'm on the site right now. It's 45 minutes from Anchorage.
Yeah, you want to go there? Here, come on, kids. We're going to see the muskox. They were around prehistoric, the Ice Age. They survived it.
I think I'm good.
Look what it says the odor is like. Smell that.
Yeah, I don't think I get. I'm gonna go ask. I'll go ask the blonde in the break. I'll ask her what she thinks of that. You ask Miss T what she thinks about you and I going on a little muskox.
You know what that would end up being.
Just duck.
Get the hell out of here. That's what I would get. Get out of here.
Good talking to you, buddy.
Goodbye.
Talk again soon. Little Tuesdays with Tiberi on the Bryan Heating and Cooling Systems Fan Guest Hotline. Thing or not a thing up next. Bishop and Friends right here on the Fan.
Big voice guy here to remind you that you're listening to the Fan, Ohio sports destination. Okay, thanks. I have 3 more seconds. Bye-bye.
You just realized your business needed to hire someone yesterday. How can you find amazing candidates fast? Easy. Just use Indeed. Start at Indeed.com/credit.
Everybody poops, everybody pees. Mommy, will you call Mr. Rooter, please? 'Cause I gotta poop and I gotta pee. Only Mr. Rooter can clear the drain for me. Thank you, Mr. Rooter.
Hi, everybody. We call it what it is at Mr. Rooter. When you have a plumbing or drain problem, the team at Mr. Rooter is ready 7 days a week. Call us today and take advantage of our $95 drain cleaning special. Visit us at MrRooter.com. We'll be there quick.
The standing room only, with all eyes on the 18th green.
That's a good-looking ball.
The sudden roars. That Sunday celebration.
Jack always made the putt at 18, and today Scotty Scheffler did.
Witness the Memorial Tournament presented by Workday, May 26th through June 1st. It's second to none. Visit memorialtickets.com today.
Wow, what a shot.
Joining us on this episode are real Spectrum customers, Monique and Greg. We hear your family is a big fan of Spectrum.
Family of 4, we have about 18 devices last time I counted.
2 teams require a lot of speed. Everything they do is online.
There's gaming, there's streaming. Spectrum is perfect for us. I mean, it just seamlessly connects all our devices with lightning speed.
Sounds like Spectrum is really committed to keeping you connected.
It's amazing.
Hey friends, Brandon Beam here, and when I dropped 70 pounds with Awaken 180, it felt like finally finishing a massive home renovation. You know, job done. Everything looks sharp, but it gets better, actually. I just had my first free monthly maintenance visit, and I found out I lost another 4.2 pounds without really even trying. It's like discovering an extra room in your house you never knew was even there. Awaken 180 isn't about meds or quick fixes. It's like learning exactly how to stock your fridge and pantry with all the right tools. I still eat plenty, still feel satisfied, and now making healthy choices is second nature. Like flipping the light switch on the first try in the dark. My body's firing on all cylinders, and I'm down 75 pounds without medications or hunger tricks. Just real education on eating smarter and feeling fantastic. Call Awaken 180 or visit awaken180weightloss.com. Trust me, once you learn the blueprint, your only regret is not calling them sooner. 844-346-1800. 844-346-1800.
1877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Donate today at carsforkids.org. That's cars with a K. Your car can be picked up as soon as the next day. Receive a tax deduction and vacation voucher.
1877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Now accepting donations of land, homes, buildings, or any kind of real estate.
Most radio stations suck. Here's why. They don't invest in local programming. We're live and local 14 hours a day. You can rest assured that every stupid thing we say is 100% local. Homegrown dumb since day one. The Fan.
This is Jeff for Tri-State Men's Health, where we've successfully treated thousands of men for low testosterone and helped them feel like their old selves again. Please take a moment and listen to how we help Billy.
Hi, I'm Billy Hatcher, a former professional baseball player, and I'm a patient at Tri-State Men's Health. Before I started the treatment, it was like my body was sore all the time, and I was feeling very, very sluggish. One day, I would be full of energy, and the next day was like, where did all my energy go? And since I've started, my body hasn't felt this good in a long time. I feel like, I'm not 21 to 25 again. It's just been great. I feel very, very comfortable coming here. When you have the energy, it's amazing. You get to do so many other things that you couldn't do prior to that. If you're tired of hurting in the mornings, you want to improve your health, you want to feel better, give a call to Tri-State Men's Health. I promise you, you will feel better.
Thanks, Billy. It's true. Call 800-900-9654 or go to tristatemenshealth.com.
All your favorite fan shows are available when you want them.
Head to 971thefan.com and hit that subscribe button.
The Fan, Ohio sports destination. The best hair on the air. You're listening to Bishop and Friends.
All right, time for a little thing or not a thing on a Tuesday. Hit it, fellas.
Thing or not a thing.
Sponsored by Apex Plumbing Pros.
Along with Fox, NBC held their advertising up fronts earlier this week. The NBA is going to return to NBC for the first time since 2002 and will bring with it a special contributor in the form of Michael Jordan. It's unclear exactly what MJ's role will be, but his airness said in a video message, quote, "I'm excited about being a special contributor to the project. I'm looking forward to seeing you all when the NBA on NBC launches in October." So Peacock's going to exclusively stream games on Monday night, while NBC and Peacock will have regional doubleheaders Tuesdays. The NBC and Peacock will also launch Sunday night basketball in January of 2026. Thing or not a thing?
Well, huge thing. I don't think Mike has ever commented, other than occasionally about Kobe Bryant or about his own team when he owned the Charlotte Hornets. I don't think he's ever commentated on the state of the league. Never. I mean, he just doesn't do it. So that's why it was such a big deal when The Last Dance aired, because we hadn't heard from him on that time. That was during COVID and all of that, so that helped too. So it was new content, and it was Jordan, and it was all of that. So this is a guy who's never done this. He's never weighed in on what the league is. I have no idea if he'll be good at it or not. I have no idea how biting he will be on it or not. My hunch is if he's as he kind of is in everyday life, he'll probably be quite biting. My hunch is also that the reason it's like a special role or whatever, I'm sure it's only Sunday night. I'm sure it's one day a week, and maybe he comes on and does, a little bit of the pregame or the halftime or something like that. He's not going to be on games, so it'll be a pregame thing for 5 minutes. I don't think he's going to sit there for an hour on a pregame show, but I do think you could see him on Sunday night. I have no idea if he'll be good. It's a mixed bag on all-time greats as announcers. Joe Montana it is well known, was really, really bad at it. Bill Walsh was really, really not good at it. I don't know that Tom Brady's good at it. I don't think Magic Johnson was particularly good at it. With all of his charisma. So just because you're a great player doesn't necessarily mean you're great on TV. And so this is a huge thing, the fact that he's doing it, but I'm very interested to see how they use him and what he's willing to say.
Bo, as we talked about a little bit yesterday with this, it doesn't seem like Michael Jordan, right? It doesn't seem like this is in his wheelhouse. I think the only way this really works is if we get Michael Jordan on the golf course, right? Because I'm sure Michael Jordan on the golf course is yucking it up and talking trash and all kinds of great stories. I can just imagine him and Chuck playing around together. If we can get that Michael Jordan, a little bit of that, where he loosens up and is just himself, maybe it'll work, but it sure doesn't seem like this is something that fits him.
No, I have played in a foursome right behind Michael.
Like
15 years. Yeah, went to the driving range in Palm Desert and didn't even really look up. But as we had, I can't remember, it was a mid-morning tee time, and as we go to the driving range to go hit some balls, so his bag is Carolina blue and white, and sewn on is every version of the Jordan sneaker on every one. And he played in a fivesome right in front of us and was very quick. And we play quick too, but he was very quick. Like, we could not keep up. But he's one of those guys that when you're in a room with him, the room stops. Like, that's the type of kind of charisma that he has naturally.
So the NFL is going to do 7 international games across 5 countries this upcoming season. They've released most of the games, all of the games except for one officially. It'll be Chiefs and Chargers, and Brazil is the one they're still going to TBD, obviously, for tomorrow's schedule release. But the Minnesota Vikings are going to play the Browns Sunday, October 5th at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium in London. Week before that, Vikings will play the Steelers in Dublin, Ireland. Adam Schefter had this. Minnesota will become the first team to play in back-to-back international games in different countries. Thing or not a thing?
Cool thing, maybe. I don't know if it's, I think one of them's a home game, one of them's a road game. Is that kind of the way that it works out? I suppose if you're them, you figure you might as well just, if we're going to go over, I don't know what type of damage that would be. Like, I guess it would be akin to like what the Browns did last year, a couple of years ago, when they went and played in Denver and then they just went to L.A. and trained in L.A. My guess is that's what they would do. They would treat that way, so it's probably not that big of an impact for them. And then their reward would be they can probably use their bye week whenever they want to use it. So I don't know if it's that big of a deal that they're having to do it. I'm guessing they'll just treat it like a trip to Los Angeles for the East Coast teams.
So I just pulled this up. Dublin, Ireland to London, England, it says is an 8-hour and 15-minute drive. So that's what, like an hour flight, hour and a half flight? So I'm guessing this will, as you said, Bo, it'd just be like a team going to the West Coast and staying out there for the weekend. As long as they get facilities that are good enough for them in both spots, I think everything will be okay. And I think it's a lot easier for them to just stay over there and do 2 in a row rather to come back and fly back over and whatnot and all of that. So I don't think this is really a thing other than the historic aspect of it, that they'll be the first team to play in back-to-back overseas countries in back-to-back weeks. But yeah, I don't think it's going to be that too difficult for them.
It's even going to be less of that from flight, because part of your 8 hours is factoring in a ferry ride across the Irish Sea. Like, you got to get on a ferry. So, they don't even have to deal with that. So it's a nothing flight.
NFL insider for ESPN, Pete Schrager, joined the Pat McAfee show late last week and provided an update on Aaron Rodgers' situation.
To his credit, and he was very transparent. I spoke to the Giants guys while that was all going on, and he was very complimentary of Brian Daboll on your show after the fact, because he said the same thing to the Steelers. Guys, if you are going to operate on your timetable, that's not my timetable. Please move on. So he was very upfront. All these people saying, like, we're waiting on Rodgers. These teams have been given the choice to wait on Rodgers. Now, the Giants, they pivoted. They went and they signed Jameis, then they signed Russ, and then they drafted Jackson Dart.
And they were trying to trade up to get Cam Ward, we're learning now.
No doubt. We saw the tape on that. The Steelers, however, they had a great meeting. It all went well. He told them the same exact thing, and the Steelers' decision was to go back into their facility and say, all right, we're willing to wait. So this is the price they're paying a little bit. But I do not think, and AJ, you could tell me, and Pat, of course, you guys all know that, I don't think there's this assumed handshake deal that, hey, don't worry, I'll get there. They would have announced it. They would have signed him. They would have done it. I still think he's deliberating, and from what I gather, Pittsburgh knows no more now than they did at the draft or before the draft.
Thing or not a thing?
I don't believe it. I'm not changing now. You can call it a handshake or whatever. I think that they know there's a very good chance that he'll be a Pittsburgh Steeler. I'm sure nothing's final until it's final, till the ink is dry. But it sure as heck feels to me like he knows that they know he's going to be a Steeler, because nothing else that they've done all offseason would make an ounce of sense if they didn't. And they're just too smart of an organization to put it all of the marbles in that basket. So I feel like it's known that there is an agreement, handshake, and ink dry, probably not. But it feels like their behavior is a team that's very confident they're getting a quarterback.
I think this is a thing because I've said all along, I think he's looking for a better spot. He really wants that Minnesota job, it sounds like, and I don't think he's going to get that, but I think he's waiting as long as he can. Also, if I'm the Steelers, and we know Aaron wasn't terrible last year, but he hasn't been great the last few years, and he's got thoughts of retirement popping up in his head, if what Schrager said there is true, and he's really thinking about maybe I'm not going to play, I'd run from that. I want no part of a guy that's not 100% sure he wants to be out there. So I think this is a little bit of a thing.
But it's going to be fascinating to see, like if they're really going to roll the dice to that extent. It's a big roll even for them. All right, final hour of the program up next. How good of a partner does Ohio State have to be? We'll get to that among other things. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
Catch the latest from the world of Ohio State athletics. Weeknights at 6 on the Buckeye Show. New special guests and everything scarlet and gray. The Fan.
Save big on everything for your roofing or siding project when you shop at Menards. Soffit adds the perfect finishing touch to your home's exterior and keeps your attic cool and dry. White, brown, and black aluminum soffit is in stock and ready to take home today. Shop all our building materials products in-store or on Menards.com. And check out all of our great deals going on now at Menards.
Save big money at Menards.
It's been a great run. Care Heating and Cooling has achieved goals I could only imagine 30 years ago. But now it's time for the next generation to take over. This is Mike Weens, now the retired founder of Care Heating and Cooling with my sons, Dennis and Ryan.
Dad, as Care grew over the years, you had many opportunities to sell Care to one of the big conglomerates that are buying companies all over Central Ohio. So tell our customers why you decided to keep Care in the family.
After talking about Care's values for over 30 years, I couldn't bear the thought of Care becoming the kind of company I was warning our customers about. I know the two of you will continue to treat our customers as I would, with honesty and integrity.
We will, Dad. In 2024, Care was awarded a BBB Torch Award for Ethics and was named the Lennox Partner of the Year. You don't earn those awards by leaving cat toys behind.
Call Care Heating and Cooling at 1-800-COOLING or schedule an appointment online at careheatingandcooling.com. When you need a company you can trust.
That's the sound of a Mountain Dew. And that's you enjoying its refreshing citrus kick. That's a cool breeze suddenly whistling through your hair.
Whoa!
That's you realizing you're now on a mountain.
This is epic!
That's you stating the obvious. That's you stepping up to the plate. That's you winning your kickball game.
Yeah,
that's you taking another sip of your Do the Do.
Today is the day. After countless hours of research, cutting back expenses, and 9 months of anxiously waiting for her, today is the day you finally bring home your new car. It's also the day to protect her with an auto policy from Shelter Insurance. Our policies are competitively priced and include new car replacement coverage if anything were to happen to your new baby.
To find an agent near you, visit shelterinsurance.com. We're your shield. We're your shelter.
Join the Reds and their quest for the coveted Ohio Cup in a weekend series against the Cleveland Guardians, May 16th through the 18th. On Saturday, May 17th, rev your engines for Reds Racing Night. To celebrate the Reds' participation in this summer's MLB Speedway Classic at Bristol, fans in attendance will receive a Mr. Reds race car bobblehead presented by Kroger while supplies last. Secure your seats now at reds.com/tickets.
Thy ticket, Lady Jennifer of Coolidge.
Well, many thanks, good sir. Here'th my Discover card.
They accept Discover at Renaissance fairs?
Yeah, they do here. Discover's accepted at the places I love to shop. Getteth with the times.
With the times? You're playing the lute.
Yeah, and it sounds pretty good, right?
Discover is accepted at 99% of places that take credit cards nationwide, based on the February 2024 Nielsen report.
For a lot of us, saving up a down payment can be the biggest barrier to buying a home. So Rocket Mortgage is lowering down payments to 1% for eligible home buyers with One Plus. Because everyone deserves their shot at the American dream. Call 800-4ROCKET or visit rocket.com to get a head start on your starter home.
Rocket Mortgage, LLC, licensed in all 50 states, NMLSconsumeraccess.org, number 3030.
Whoa, it's you, the Capital One Bank guy.
That's what they call me.
Mind if I get a selfie?
Yeah, sure thing. Save no fees or minimums on your Capital One checking account.
Wow, that's a keeper. So, where are you heading?
I'm off to spread the good news that Capital One helps people keep more money in their wallet with no overdraft fees.
Oh, you're the best Capital One Bank guy.
Hey, mind if I get a selfie?
Sure.
Say, Capital One, what's in your wallet?
Terms apply. See CapitalOne.com/bank for details. Capital One NA, member FDIC.
The playoffs are in full swing, and you can get in on all the action at ESPN Bet Sportsbook. Go from tracking the latest game-changing moments to placing bets in just a few taps. Right now, new customers get $100 in bonus bets when you make your first $10 wager. Download the ESPN Bet Sportsbook app and sign up with promo code JOEQ, J-O-E-Q, to get started today. Must be 21 plus. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Terms and conditions apply. See app for details. Offer not available in New York.
Broadcasting from the Lindsay Honda Studios.
Honda makes the cars. Lindsay makes the difference. Visit lindsayhonda.com.
WBNS-FM, HD1 Columbus. The Fan. Sports Center.
Good morning. I'm Eric Reeser. The Cavaliers are on the brink of elimination. Cleveland's going to host Indiana tonight in Game 5 of the Eastern Conference semifinals. Pacers lead 3-1 and can close out the series tonight with a win. A Cavs win Tuesday can force Game 6 in Indianapolis on Thursday. Game 7 would be in Cleveland on Sunday. Also on the court Tuesday, the Thunder host the Nuggets in Game 5 of the Western Conference semis. That series is tied at 2 games apiece. In the NFL, the entire 2025 schedule will be out on Wednesday. Several games have already been announced, including the international slate of games. The Browns will play the Vikings Week 5 in London, Sunday, October 5th at 9:30. Game's going to be played at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. This update sponsored by Dr. Mark Levy. If you're snoring and not sleeping, call Dr. Mark Levy's office at 1-800-MORE-SLEEP. That's 1-800-MORE-SLEEP, or visit him online at sleepbettercolumbus.com. Breaking sports news when it happens on The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
Bo knows many people. He talks to the interesting ones on this show. This is Bishop and Friends.
All right, final hour here on a Tuesday edition of the program. I was listening to Man and Timmy yesterday on the debut of their new show. Very fun, really entertaining, as you knew that it would be. They know each other very, very well. And listening to Brother Bone and Tyvis in the mornings, as well as everything's kind of moving around a little bit here. One thing I noticed was that Mike and Timmy had a new big voice guy. Now, I've heard it somewhere, and I can't place it. Did you pick? I mean, this is a different big voice guy. It's not the one that we've had around. It's unique. It's a new one, and I swear it's from somewhere, and I couldn't place it.
Tonight! Bo, you're absolutely right, and I need to hear it again to say where it's from.
Where's it from?
But I have heard it. I'd have to hear some of their imaging.
In my head, it feels like...
When I heard it, I was like, oh, it's that guy.
Is it the Carl's Jr. guy? Like, I don't know this. I feel like Fish and obviously...
It's the Sunday night... it's the Westwood One guy that does Sunday Night Football, I believe, or whatever it is on the radio.
I've heard it somewhere. I can't place it for the life of me. I know Fish has the answer to it, and obviously Man and Timmy and Ted and everybody would have the answer. But it was so distinctive. I'm not going to bug them during their show, but as I'm listening, I'm like, this is a new big voice guy, and it's one I've heard before. And I've heard it, I feel like prominently on something, but I could not place it for the life of me yesterday. So we'll have to get to the bottom of that. Do you have an answer, Bake?
No, I'm about to listen to it in here in the queue to see if it can. Well, I got to make sure I have the right thing here. So
yeah, make sure you have the right thing. We got our very best people on it, but it's definitely distinct, and I swear it's something that I know well, and I could not place it for the life of me. It's definitely a new big voice. All right, Bake's listening. It's riveting.
I can hear him listening.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've got nothing so far. I gotta pull this up and figure it out because, Bo, I knew exactly when I heard it yesterday who it was.
Okay, so on social, the voice is the guy who does the radio intro for Sunday Night Football on Westwood One. So you had that, but to me, it even sounds like something else. I don't know. It very distinctive, but it was fun listening to those guys last night, as you knew that it would. I got something else that I was just thinking about. So if you're watching on the stream, I'm going to hold up something that is probably in every one of your houses. Okay? So can you guys see that? Can you make out what that is? Does that make sense? How about this?
Q-tip?
Yeah. What do you use? Do you have Q-tips in your house?
Yes.
Bake?
Of course. Use them a couple times a week.
For? What do you use a Q-tip for?
Flush them in the toilet and clog things.
What do you really use them for?
My ears.
How about you, Beck?
Ears. And then sometimes you get something in your eye, you may use it to get that out, or maybe use it for cleaning.
The primary is ears. And we've been taught to use them our whole lives this way. My kids use them this way. I could not think of another product that's like this. Not only is on the back of the Q-tips box, they obviously have been sued. So on the back of the Q-tips box, here are the 4 things that a Q-tip can be used for, according to the box. Beauty, so it shows like someone like cleaning their mascara. First aid and baby care, so there's a Q-tip up against like a baby's foot. Home and electronics. And then arts and crafts. Those are the 4 things a Q-tip should be used for. And in fact, it says on the one side, warning, do not insert swab into ear canal. Oops. Entering the ear canal could cause injury. If used to clean ears, stroke swab gently around the outer surface of the ear only. Keep out of the reach of children. Is this the only product in the world that 99% of the use for it, that people use it for, is discouraged by the product? In fact, there's a warning saying, don't do that. And yet that's all anybody does with them. When's the last time you broke out the Q-tips to do some arts and crafts? I got little kids. We didn't even do that. Never did. Home and electronics, okay, fine. Like sometimes a keyboard, you want to get in there a little bit, you swab it up. First aid and baby care, I don't think I've ever used it. And beauty, certainly not. To put a warning label on and say you can use it for everything except this, I've just never seen anything like it. It occurred to me this morning, as these are in every room, every bathroom in our house has Q-tips that are used to clean ears. And the warning label literally says, don't. Not even Band-Aid is that bold. I mean, there's nothing else like it.
So then what?
It would be like if you had a bottle of bourbon. Like, imagine if you had a bottle of liquor. Let's say you had vodka. And it said on the label, cleaning, fire starting, 2 other things, but don't drink it, even though that's what everybody does with it. Yeah, I'll wait. I don't think there's another product on the planet that is used for one thing primarily and then not, and then discouraged against using it for that.
So, Bo, I found the show open in the voice that you have.
All right, go ahead.
If you want to hear this, we can...
Yeah, I do. Okay. I thought it was great, and it's very distinctive.
The following is intended for immature audiences only.
There's no such thing as a radio rating system.
But if there were, this show would be rated O as in...
Oh my God, this show is so stupid. These people should be in jail. Let's begin.
Good afternoon.
You're listening to Common Man and Timmy. Featuring Panama Ted.
Ted's a fun guy.
And the Crazy Soundboard.
Hola, I'm Dennis Farina. So much.
I even made just a little bit of a diagram for you.
56, and is that correct? Walk.
You little weasel.
Turn off your brain and unzip your pants. Here's Common Man and Timmy.
I mean, it was so distinctive.
So that is definitely like
David Lee,
the Westwood One guy voice.
is the voice of the NFL, like Westwood One. He does the no.
So he's that guy.
Yeah. Good for them.
I have heard him a lot, obviously, like Sunday Night Football here on the Fan or NFL games that we're playing over on ESPN Columbus, NCAA tournament, Westwood coverage, all of that stuff. So that's where I knew it from immediately.
Oh, he's got a long list. He's got a long list of things that he's voiced, baby. Yeah. It's got to be Westwood One, right?
Did someone tell Jim Cutler?
Jim Cutler,
the guy, our big voice guy.
Oh, I think for some reason I've been being fed a whole lot of.
Like, is that Jay's dad?
No, I've been fed a whole lot of Mad Men stuff, like on like the IG and all of that stuff, and Jim Cutler's. He shows up late in the series as kind of a guy who he's like the rival Roger Sterling. So I've seen him pop up a lot. So when he said Jim Cutler, I thought, boy, a little Mad Men reference out of Reese. Yeah, so that jumped out to me, and then quite honestly, I've never seen anything like Q-tips, where it's used entirely for one thing, and it's discouraged for being used as that one thing. The one thing Ohio State is going to have to do is find some middle ground on how to be a good partner, but not have to carry the entire weight of a conference. This goes into Big Noon. It goes into what the future is going to look like, not just on the hardwood, or not just rather on the field, but also on the hardwood. We will get into that and what Ross Bjork's job is on that front coming up next. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
We have so many local shows, I can't fit them in a 10-second promo. So let's just say we're live and local all damn day. The Fan.
When it's time to ask life's biggest question, make sure your ring says it all. Hi, it's Alex Johnson from the Diamond Cellar, and we've been helping couples say yes for over 78 years. From brilliant cuts to better prices, the quality and selection of our diamonds is unmatched. Because diamonds aren't just our business, they're our legacy. Visit us at Diamond Cellar on Salmo Road or Easton Town Center and learn more at diamondcellar.com. Bigger diamonds, better prices, guaranteed.
From the hardwood to the warehouse, performance matters. That's why Caster Connection, proudly based in Columbus and trusted nationwide, delivers industrial caster and wheel solutions to keep operations rolling smoothly. With an unrivaled online inventory and the best consultative experts in the industry, we'll help you find the right caster for any job. Shop now at casterconnection.com and save 10% on online orders with promo code ROLL10. Not a retail location.
Two guys drove to work. Neither guy wore a seatbelt. One guy got a ticket. One guy didn't. The same two guys drove home. One guy wore his seatbelt. One guy didn't. One guy made it home. The guy not wearing his seatbelt didn't. Don't risk it. Click it or ticket. Paid for by NHTSA.
Hey guys, don't waste time and money with low-quality online TRT that charges you over $100 just to start. Visit the TRT experts today at Low T Center for a free consultation and free test. The treatment is personalized to your body, and most major insurance is accepted. And you'll get the freedom to choose if you want in-center care or at-home treatment. Looking to lose weight? Get a free B12 shot when you start prescription treatment. The offer is limited, so book now at fixmylowt.com. That's fixmylowt.com. lowt.com.
Working your way through that honey-do list? That means more flushes, more showers, more fiddling with a thermostat. Trust the pros at the Waterworks with your plumbing and drain cleanings and repairs and all your heating and cooling needs. Our certified pros can repair or replace your furnace or air conditioner. Clogs? Call the Waterworks. Drain cleaning? Call the Waterworks. Plumbing issues? Call the Waterworks. Furnace repairs? Call the Waterworks. The Waterworks. Trusted neighborhood plumbing, drain, heating, and cooling experts.
Common Man and Timmy here for the ESPN Bet Sportsbook inside Hollywood Casino. Golf tournament giveaway is on May 20th. Win a pair of tickets to the golf tournament where Jen Winters falls down. Visit Hollywood Columbus on social media and follow the steps for a chance to win.
That is a great golf tournament, but I am really just focused on this. All you can eat ribs on Tuesdays and Thursdays throughout May, only at the ESPN Bet Sportsbook. Did I just say all you can eat ribs?
Must be 21 or older. Gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER.
This promo is for anyone who likes baseball or America or Terry Francona's scooter. The Reds are on the Fan. Catch all 162 games here on the Fan and 1460 ESPN Columbus and the Fan's HD2. Your home for Reds baseball, the Fan.
Two guys drove to work. Neither guy wore a seatbelt. One guy got a ticket. One guy didn't. The same two guys drove home. One guy wore his seatbelt. One guy didn't. One guy made it home. The guy not wearing his seatbelt didn't. Don't risk it. Click it or ticket. Paid for by NHTSA.
Do you want a job that is flexible, secure, and fun? It also offers excellent pay and is ranked as one of the best jobs in America, too. I'm talking about being a dental hygienist. And all you have to do is complete a 2-year program after high school. Visit ODA.org to learn more and to start helping people love their smile. This message is brought to you by the members of the Ohio Dental Association.
Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
Temperatures today getting up into the mid-70s and cloudy to mostly cloudy skies. However, we still have chances of showers and thunderstorms, some which could be heavy downpours and gusty winds at times. For tonight, those chances continue with lows right around 60. And for Wednesday, we warm into the upper 70s with rain and storm chances still lingering. For the Fan, I'm meteorologist Meredith Garfalo with your 10 weather impact forecast.
Just when you thought afternoons couldn't get any dumber.
You fellas been doing a bit of boozing, have you?
Common Man and Timmy.
Weekdays from 3 to 6.
Your home for dumb. The Fan. Connect with the show on X at 971BFS. Jump in our YouTube chat or just send a raven. You're listening to Bishop and Friends.
So this is the time of year that network streaming services, this is called upfront time. So what it is they get in front of their biggest sponsors and their biggest, the people who spend the most on to advertise on their given endeavor. And they say, this is all of the great stuff we're going to do. So Fox did it on Monday. We talked about this off the top of the show. They mentioned that they will have the Texas game. They mentioned that they will have the Michigan game. They did not put times to either one of those. We know the Michigan game is going to be noon, but the Texas game potentially might not be, according to people that I've talked to. So we'll see what comes of that, and I'm optimistic that maybe they'll land the plane on that one. ESPN is having theirs today, and right now they have ESPN Plus, and it's an app that's on your phone or on your television rather, or your phone as well, and you can watch ESPN from that app. It right now, the way I consume it is part of a bundle, which is kind of like my whole life with these stupid apps, is part of a bundle that includes, I think, Hulu and Disney Plus and ESPN Plus. Like it's all in one big bundle that I pay. I don't even know what I pay a month for the damn thing, but it's something in the 20s, I think, for all three of the services, something like that. So ESPN is going away from that. Not to say that they won't still have bundle opportunities, but they are doing a streaming service that will be named just ESPN. Today, they told you how much that is going to cost. $30 a month. So this goes all the way back to, if you think about the creation of the Big Ten Network, if you think about why they added Rutgers and Maryland, it all came down to cable buy. So the one thing that was always the most expensive on your cable system, for those of you who used to consume it and those of us who still do, if you get the breakdown on what a given network costs per month, the most expensive was always ESPN, other than the paid networks. HBO was always $15. I mean, those were more Showtime, that type of stuff. But in terms of the traditional basic cable, ESPN's carriage fees were always bigger than anybody else's, oftentimes tenfold more, sometimes more. So this is their answer for that at $29.99 a month. Are we finally at a point where where folks out there are going to be willing to pay that? Is $30 a month? This is more expensive than anything else. It's more Netflix now, right? I don't even know what I pay for Netflix. Netflix is in the 20s now, or right around.
I guess it depends on the tiers you'd like to use.
Yeah. So this will be the most expensive app. Now they have a lot of live sports, and we'll get to a 16-team playoff. And we've talked about the NBA. We know they have NFL. They have the SEC. They have all of these things that they can stream from this app. So this has been the big plan for a long time, is to get to a point where this thing can stand alone on its own at $30 a month per subscriber. We're usually not willing to do this. Is now the time where this can land? Can this work for them?
I think so, and I think so during time. I don't think it'll be something that. I mean, I think there'll be half that get it for year-round purposes, but you'll have others that I do think with this will sign up for a couple of months, like during the NFL season, and then they'll drop off after that. Or for the college football season, they'll sign up, and then they'll drop off after that. If you can go month to month, that seems like where they think they can get the biggest gainer out of this. There were talk that it was going to be called the flagship, but they're just going to be calling it ESPN, which is great. That's the brand you're known for. Like, I keep thinking back to Max and how nobody knows it as that. It's the HBO app, or it's HBO. And so you're just keeping the brand. But I do think this will be successful. I mean, they just announced Rich Eisen's coming over. I do think this will help bring a lot of people away from cable that just strictly want the ESPN lineup of products and college football.
I think, to me, it's what you're getting, right? Are you going to get everything that ESPN puts on TV? Are you going to get all of these other things as well? If I'm someone who was going to do this, I feel like I would just get cable, because I don't feel like there's going to be as much.
You don't say.
Yeah, I don't feel like there's going to be enough incentive there to pay just $30 a month for that and not get everything else that I want. So to me, if I was somebody looking for ESPN content, I would just go back to cable and then use whatever I'm getting on ESPN Plus anyway. I guess we don't know the exclusive to this.
So, Vic, what you're describing is if you have ESPN via your cable provider, you then have access to some parts of ESPN Plus. So I guess what I'm curious about is, will I continue? Now, I pay for it outside of it. Like I pay for the ESPN Plus along with the Hulu and in that bundle thing that I do with Disney Plus. But like, I wonder if what they will do, because there is stuff on ESPN Plus currently that is not on ESPN.
Correct.
And we just dealt with this with Ohio State lacrosse, although that was a game on ESPN too. But you see a lot of the college stuff, college baseball, college lacrosse, the major college sports, or maybe not the major, the minor college sports are on ESPN Plus a lot. And you've seen ESPN broadcast SEC games on ESPN Plus as well, exclusively. So I'm guessing what usually comes with this is an even bigger push to make things exclusively to the app. I mean, Amazon does this, Netflix has done this. This is the new world order of this thing. Is to do that, is to make things exclusive to the app.
Here's my other wonder with this, because there are some things, as you mentioned, that you can get on ESPN Plus that you can't get on regular ESPN. Will you be able to get that on this direct-to-consumer thing? Because, like, I know a lot of people, like, you can get all of the NHL games on ESPN Plus.
Yeah.
I can't get the Blue Jackets on there because I'm in market, but, like, my buddy that lives in Kansas City watches every Blue Jackets game on ESPN Plus. If he gets this, will he still be able to get those, or will he have to do both? That's another question with all of this.
It's a valid one. You hit it off the top. They've just basically reverse engineered cable.
And
that's what they're all trying to get to.
We've kind of said this was going to happen all along, right?
Yeah. Here's the loser. It's going to be all you, because you're going to end up paying for a bunch of stuff on multiple different apps. And for me, and I know I'm a man. I'm 40. I'm old. I don't enjoy it. I don't like just staying in an app and not being able to bounce around. I cannot stand when the NFL games. I cannot stand the Peacock experience. I can't stand it when Ohio State basketball game's on Peacock, and I just got to sit there in the app as it plays. And I understand maybe people watch it on their tablets and they're dual screening, and a lot of people do that nowadays, or they have multiple televisions. But I always want the Buckeyes to be on the big TV. So they're always on the big TV, and I just got to sit there as they go to commercial. It's like, well, what am I paying for? I thought the whole point of me paying for this is that I didn't have to. And now I do. I got to sit there in commercials. And so I think the experience sucks in these apps for sports. I do. I think it's really brutal. I think the Amazon, the production value of the actual games is fine, but you're not getting an enhanced viewing experience with this. You're getting the exact same viewing experience, except you can't bounce off channels. You're just stuck in there. And I think YouTube TV is different. One of you guys has that, right? Where you can kind of bounce around on YouTube TV. But that's a totally separate thing from this. This is an individual app that you're going to have to go to, download, and live in to consume this stuff. And if they go there, we saw this just last week with Ted Cruz in that hearing about, now who knows what comes of that, but about this stuff has to be accessible for a lot of people. And this is just one more example of it not.
What I did for football season was I bundled Hulu with ESPN. And so I wonder if the standalone app, the standalone direct-to-consumer ESPN, will be available for $30, what it's going to be offered if you want to bundle it with like Hulu and Disney Plus. Like that, I don't think they've explained yet, but I think a college football game only on ESPN's DTC is coming.
This says an introductory offer of all three services for $29.99 for the first year. You can also buy, an annual subscription, $2.99 per year, a select plan which offers all content available on ESPN Plus for $11.99 a month, or $119 a year.
So here's what I'm currently paying for the Disney Plus, Hulu, ESPN Plus bundle. I pay $26.99 a month for it. Now, what I get with that is no commercials on Disney and no commercials on Hulu. I still have ads on ESPN Plus, but the other two are no ads. So you can play for the basic and have ads on Disney Plus and Hulu for $16.99.
That's what I have.
That's the price of that, is the with ads. But then all of a sudden, you're watching Star Wars and an advertisement pops in every 45 minutes that you can't fast forward through. Like, how bad does that suck? Like,
it's been bad.
I guess I don't use it. The only reason I've kept Hulu and Disney Plus with mine is because I think it's only like $5 more than just ESPN Plus. So who kind of cares? And that to me, Bo, it sounds like if you hypothetically had a device where you could get all of this stuff together in one, you wouldn't have to worry about all this.
No, you wouldn't. Cable used to do that. Now I still have that too. But this comes into what we're going to get into coming up next, and that is you're headed for a 16-game playoff come hell or high water. And why are they doing that? It's for things like paying $29.99 a month for ESPN as an app. That's why you're doing it, because they're going to get their pound of flesh out of this. They're going to get their money out of this. And the people who are going to suffer the most, and Ohio State is right in the middle of this with this Peacock package on college basketball, is going to be your college sports. The NFL, it's going to be here and there, but it'll be college sports that are impacted a lot. They're going to leverage the NBA. We know that with Peacock. We had that earlier in the show. There will be more and more ways that you are leveraged in order for them to make more money, and it's a tough spot as a sports fan. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
Hey folks, Austin Ward here with an opportunity to lose 40 by the 4th. Yes, pounds, and why not? I dropped my first 40 in just 8 weeks. It was easy, and it will be easy for you too. Take the medication-free and lasting approach. Awaken180weightloss.com.
Hiring today for tomorrow with WM. A stable career and a safe environment. That's what you get as a heavy-duty mechanic at WM.
Plus great benefits like 100% tuition coverage for you and your family.
WM is now hiring heavy-duty mechanics in Columbus. Get boot and tool allowance and additional pay with a Cummins certification or CDL license.
There are openings for CDL truck drivers too with home daily routes.
Apply online at careers.wm.com. That's careers.wm.com.
A people-first, military-friendly, equal opportunity employer.
Dealin' Days are back at Lindsay Honda. Lock in your deal in May. Save thousands on hundreds of new Hondas. Simply pick your new 2025 Honda and enjoy 0% for up to 60 months. Yes, 0% for up to 60 months on all new 2025 Hondas, including HRV, Pilot, and Ridgeline.
Cars, trucks, vans, and SUVs. Lindsay's got it, and you're gonna save.
See Lindsay Honda during Dealin' Days. See lindsayhonda.com for details.
When it's time to fire up the grill, Meijer is ready to help bring the char-grilled good life to your backyard with prime cuts of certified Angus beef, wholesome all-natural chicken breast, tenders, wings, and thighs, hand-selected to ensure quality and taste, lean ground beef prepared fresh daily, and even a wide selection of organic options, including chicken, beef, and sausage, all at sizzling low prices to help you bring home more of what you love in every trip. We're working hard to make the grilling life a good deal better at Meijer.
Wouldn't it be nice if you could dump all your problems on someone else's back? Well, when you wake up to a clogged drain or a plumbing issue, make that Mr. Rooter's problem.
Call 855-MISTERS today or MrRooter.com.
Call Mr. Rooter. He'll be there quick.
Bishop and Friends is sponsored by Diamond Seller, your true jeweler for over 75 years. The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
First Friday miracles are always better with Uncle Bo. This is Bishop and Friends.
It's a pretty wild development down in Cincinnati. Trey Hendrickson reporting for duty. He's in street clothes, but sure enough, it is still patently absurd to me that an NFL team, you have to leave the stadium, walk across a sidewalk that is like kind of gated off, and then across a street to go to their practice facility. Like, that's an NFL team. This isn't training camp.
Like, what do you want, Bo? Do you want wide receivers and keeping your quarterback happy, or do you want safety for your players?
They're crossing a street.
You get to pick one. You can't have it all.
Downtown.
Can't have it all, everything. Like Shamar Stewart, Demetrius Knight, what do you want? Like, we're paying our offensive guys. Just be happy with the deals we have in front of you. Come on, Trey.
I guess that's it. But he's there. Now, they said they haven't talked, but if I'm a Bengals fan, that's a pretty good sign.
Yeah.
To see him there.
That he's active and around. I think there's a friend of the program, Mike Petraglia, has video of him chatting it up with defensive line coach. So the brand new defensive staff at least gets to talk with Trey while he's still active.
Yeah, for sure. We were talking about the ESPN bundle and the way you're going to consume your sports going forward. A lot of momentum for a 16-team playoff. We know we're getting there, and we're going to get there by 2026 is what it amounts to. What should the checklist of things that are important to the Big Ten, and most especially Ohio State, what should that look like? What are the things that need to get answered? I ask all of that, quite dubious to think that any of them will actually be done, because I just don't think that there's anybody with real teeth who's representing any of it. How important, for example, is it that first-round playoff games are done on campus? We had a pretty great experience here with Tennessee coming to town. And it was an electric atmosphere. It was damn cold, but it was an electric atmosphere. Do we feel that way because we won the game? Yeah, probably. I'm not sure that Penn State thinks that was a win, playing at noon against SMU the following Saturday, which they had to do, or that earlier in that day on Saturday, which is what they had to do. That was a pretty brutal environment to play in. In fact, SMU had a group of boosters who couldn't even get to the game because they had all sorts of issues with plane travel. So I think the things you're looking for if you're Ohio State is what matters to us. Does it matter that first round game, that the top 8 seeds get home games? Is that something that matters? Is it something, if they get that dome built up in Cleveland, do you want a playoff game in the North? Should you be able to play quarterfinal games in Indy or in Cleveland Or if you're Wisconsin, should you be able to play quarterfinal games in Minnesota? What are the things that matter to you there? The ones that are going to matter most to Ohio State in the Big Ten is how many teams are we getting in? The number that's being pushed around is 4. 4 Big Ten, 4 SEC. That's the number that's been pushed around. Reese, I can't remember if I think you may have been out when this kind of made some headway last week with Ross Dellinger, and then Chris Vanini and others kind of followed up on it with this notion of 4 Big Ten, 4 SEC, 2 from the ACC, 2 from the Big 12, 1 group of 5, or group of 6 now. And then I think it was Big 3 at large?
Correct.
Was the way that it was?
3 at large.
So you could then in upwards get up to 6 Big 10, 6 SEC, 5 of the other. Is that my hunch is that's what matters most. Now that probably 9 years out of 10 is not going to affect Ohio State. If there's 4 automatic bids, they're going to get those bids. Ohio State's always going to be one of those bids. In fact, you'd probably have to go back to the Fickle year to find a year when Ohio State would not have been one of the top 4 seeds out of the Big Ten. The rest of the last 20-some years, they would have been. So that's not something for them to be concerned about, but that'll be something for Tony Petitti to be concerned about is how many of my teams are getting in, and a minimum better be 4.
Yeah, I think if you're Ohio State, the first thing you want to make sure is that the Big Tens get the auto bids the most or tied with the SEC for the most. If that's 4, maybe that if you're going 16, maybe you do 5, because I would be screaming for the group of 5 to have their auto bid removed, for the group of 6. You're not playing in the same. This isn't the same thing, guys. Not anymore. No way, shape, or form should an auto bid from the group of 6 get a first round bye. They got to figure out what to do with those as well. But to the auto bids, I think you do as much for the Big Ten as possible and try to get as many auto bids as possible, because I think that's just more money for your conferences, right? And if you're going to be doing revenue sharing come July, you want to make sure you can get locked into as many units, which would be as many payout dollars as possible for schools in your conference. And unfortunately, that includes Rutgers.
I hate all this. You already know this, Bo. I hate every bit of it. I hate auto bids. Just be good enough to get in. I hate that. What if we have... So what if this 6th place Big Ten team has 4 or 5 losses and they beat the 3 seed in their little play-in tournament to get in this thing, and then they're in that, and we have a 5-loss team playing? I just hate all of this. Be good enough to get in. I don't understand why. The Big Ten and SEC, there's never going to be a chance, probably, right, where they're going to have one of their top 4 teams not be one of the top 16 in the country. But it would happen, and if that's the case, they don't deserve to be in. We're going to watch. We're going to love it. The ratings are going to be through the roof, but we're not doing this the best way to determine a champion.
Do you know why I think they have auto bids? I think it's to protect them from antitrust litigation for the other conferences.
Absolutely. Yeah, I
think it's done to say, Big 12, you're going to be represented. I don't think it's to protect the SEC and the Big 10. I think the Big 10 and the SEC are always going to get their 4. I think they're going to get 5 and 6 a lot of years. I think it's to say everyone is invited. See, we're inclusive. Please don't sue us.
Right.
We're being sued on enough levels. I think that's why the group of 5 has an auto bid right now, or group of 6, whatever it is now. I think that's what that's about. No, we're letting everybody be involved. Now, they went too far because they gave them buys and they treated them all as equal. We're not going to have that again. Not going to have that. That'll be the end of that. That'll be done this year. You won't see that again. They're going to reseed it, and they'll do it based on 1 to 12. They won't do it the way they did it last year. But I think that they're trying to thread the needle of how do we make sure we're inclusive so that we don't get sued, while at the same time we're going to get everything we want, which is the most teams possibly in.
Yeah, and I understand that has to exist. I don't love the idea of auto bids either. I think it should be most deserving. But if the SEC is going to be barking about auto bids, then the Big Ten needs to be right there barking it with them, because you can't give the SEC the advantage that it's looking for.
Won't.
You just can't give that sort of ground, because the Southeastern Conference will absolutely take whatever they can get.
I think that the two of them walk hand in hand in this. I think they are willing partners. I think the Big Ten and the SEC walk into this and they say, who can stop us if we walk in together? I don't think that now, do I think the SEC and the Big Ten will make sure that they're leveraged best possible against everybody else? Absolutely. But I think that those two conferences walk in holding hands. I think they are willing partners.
I wondered what would be the one thing for the Big Ten and the SEC to make them go, well, that was a fun partnership. Well, like that was as fun as the alliance.
What would break them up?
Yep.
Money.
Because it does feel like with what ESPN's trying to do here, and then what you have Fox, CBS, and NBC with the Big Ten and the Big 12. At what point is there a difference, or at what point is there a conflict? That all of a sudden then they were walking hand in hand and now they're at each other's throats.
It's money, and it would be if somehow the SEC and ESPN make sure that the Big Ten television partners never get a bite at the playoff apple. If they continue to have ownership of it, would that drive kind of a stake between that connection between the Big Ten and the SEC? I mean, this is life, right? Like, if you think about the best relationships, what usually causes them to fall apart? It's usually money.
And that's the thing with all of this. Like, when does not just the SEC and Big Ten working together, when does greed kill all of this? Like, when does greed just give us too much? Like, you can't. We get CVS is on four corners of an intersection, and then we don't understand why three of them went under. You know, like when is this too much?
It's too much. It'll be too much, or probably the definition of too much, when the collateral damage from trying to pay for all of this harms all the other sports on campus. Now, then you're going to have to ask yourself the question.
Well, that's coming.
That's coming quick. I know.
We're close.
But, like, you're going to have to ask yourself the question, is this what we want this to be? Like, we did that thing last week where we talked about how many sports Ohio State has, and Ross Bjork has mentioned that some of those may have to go to more of a club style. He said that before. If all of a sudden you lose 6 men's sports and 3 women's sports because you can't pay for it, as an Ohio State alumni, as a booster, as a board, do you care about how much do you care about that? Or is what you care about most football? And as long as that's at the top, then the rest of it be damned. But in terms of when does the greed become something that is too much, that's it. When it starts taking away from things that matter. Now, how do you define that? That's up to you individually.
And you keep you keep wanting government to get involved and save you. Well, when government gets involved with Big State U, and Big State U is like, we're taking these sports away. Well, wait a second. Why are you doing that to those people? And there's going to be Title IX implications and all of that. It feels like it's a downhill slope that may not have a great ending.
Well, your football is going to be your football. Everything else will be up for interpretation. That's the way that this thing is heading, certainly. And I do think that in terms of Ohio State, the Big Ten, and where they kind of factor into all of this, they're going to be at the head of the table. And I think you got the right people making those decisions and the right people whose voices are going to be heard. But for everybody else, it's a boulder going downhill, and there's no stopping the momentum of it. We get to 3 things on a Tuesday up next. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
A lot of hosts have been on our airways in the past 30 years. Some good, some bad, some really bad. Anyway, sorry for that. The Fan.
Active Liver is the easy way to get a daily detox to keep you healthy and feeling your best. Find Active Liver at your local CVS or online at Amazon or NewNordicUSA.com.
We can come the day you call us.
We're 1-800-GOT-JUNK.
We make junk disappear. All you have to do is point.
Brian, I've been meaning to ask you something.
Okay, ask away.
Sometimes when we're talking, I hear a little sparkling sound.
Is it when one of us says, all you have to do is point?
There it is. Did you hear that?
That's the sound of magic happening.
Magic? Like we can come the day you call us? Wow.
Call 1-800-GOT-JUNK or visit 1-800-GOT-JUNK.com.
Going up. Prices keep going up these days. It feels like being on an elevator that only goes up. Going up.
But not at Metro. We're pushing the down button.
Going down.
We've lowered prices. Get one line of 5G data for $40, period. That's 20% lower. And you get a free Samsung 5G phone when you bring your number. Only at Metro.
5-year guarantee on eligible plans. Exclusions apply. See website for details. Not available at Metro with T-Mobile in the past 6 months. Tax applies.
That's are us. When dreams don't get in, that's are us.
Right now, get $1,500 off a shower or tub replacement or $3,000 off a full bathroom remodel, plus low to no monthly payments. Call 380-225-BATH to schedule your free estimate or go to bathsareus.com. 380-225-BATH.
That's are us. When dreams don't get in, that's are us.
At Valvoline Instant Oil Change, we're here to help keep you on the road so you can soak up all the summer fun. The road tunes.
Take me out to the ball game.
Hotel pools. Emergency ice cream stops. The sunscreen and bug spray everywhere.
It's in my eyes.
At Valvoline Instant Oil Change, we're here for it all. So stop in for a quick oil change before you go. Only takes about 15 minutes. No appointment needed.
That's the sound of a Mountain Dew. And that's you enjoying its refreshing citrus kick. That's a cool breeze suddenly whistling through your hair.
Whoa!
That's you realizing you're now on a mountain.
This is epic!
That's you stating the obvious. That's you stepping up to the plate. That's you winning your kickball game.
Yes! Let's go!
That's you taking another sip of your
Mountain
Do the Dew.
Hey, it's Bobby Carpenter. Spring is here, and it's time to refresh your yard with Ohio Mulch. With 15 convenient locations in Central Ohio, it's easier than ever to get your mulch ready for the season. Need it delivered? No problem. Save $50 on home delivery when you order online. Whether it's mulch, soil, or even stone, we've got your yard covered. Visit OhioMulch.com today and spruce up your garden with the best.
Ohio Mulch, landscape supply, cleaner, greener, better.
Can't get enough of your favorite fan content? Good news, we're on all the digitals. Follow 971 The Fan on X, Facebook, YouTube, The Talk, and Gram. Your digital home for endless shenanigans. The Fan.
Patients everywhere are experiencing joint pain relief thanks to QC Kinetics regenerative treatments. So how does this non-surgical approach work? QC Kinetics Medical Director Dr. Aaron Wolkoff explains.
Is like when you get a paper cut and the cells that come onto that scene first stop the bleeding, and then it recruits more cells to form new skin and new soft tissue. And then you look down a week later, 2 weeks later, and it's like nothing happened and that paper cut never existed.
In this same way, QC Kinetics uses your natural biologics to help repair and restore aching knees, hips, shoulders, and backs.
We take those same similar cells in different areas that are arthritic, are painful, and we cause this kind of internal self-healing that can resolve patients' pain.
Relief without surgery. See if you're a candidate for QC Kinetics regenerative treatments.
Call QC Kinetics 380-208-4544. That's 380-208-4544. 380-208-4544.
The Fan Poll is brought to you by Caster Connection. Visit CasterConnection.com to shop online or to work with our Caster Solution Specialists.
After putting up with Tom Tiberi for a decade, the broadcast gods gave Bo these two. This is Bishop and Friends.
All right, Reese, what do we have on the poll today?
Daily Fan Poll sponsored by Caster Connection, and it asks, how do you feel about Ohio State's matchup against Texas on August 30th, likely being a noon kickoff? Love it, don't mind it, absolutely despise it. We've got just north of 360 votes. The Daily Fan Poll, 71% of you absolutely despise it.
They hear you. They despise it. They can't say it out loud, but they do. They don't want to play that game at noon. And according to folks I've talked to, it's possible that they won't have to. So I don't know what the workaround's going to be on that. I don't know. I don't think it's a coincidence that initially it was in their release as noon and then that language was taken out. You don't see anything on the graphics on social media saying that it's big noon. You'd think that they would trumpet that if it was. So don't give up all hope.
Bo, I'm a guy that the noon games don't bother me. Usually, it doesn't. Like, I don't care. You can get that and get it out of the way, and you can do the rest of your day. This game deserves a better spot. This game deserves primetime billing, right? There's a reason we put big games in like Monday Night Football. Why the Eagles are doing all these primetime games for the NFL. We need big time matchups under the lights.
I'm with you. I'm a lot of it I understand. I get it. This one shouldn't be, though. And everybody knows it. Okay? Ohio State knows it. Texas knows it. The fans know it. Fox probably. If you hook them up to a lie detector test, they probably know it too. The question is, can they find a workaround? Can they take those baseball games they have on Saturday night and can they go head-to-head with their network sort of partner in NBC on that Saturday night? I don't know what NBC has that Saturday night. If they don't have anything, maybe you can just flop and play the baseball in the afternoon and play Ohio State, Texas at night. Maybe. I don't know. But find a workaround, and from what I'm being told, they're efforting that. So I don't think all hope is lost on that potentially not being a noon game. It deserves to be at night. You need that atmosphere. The fans deserve that atmosphere. You talk to folks who were at the game when Vince came in here, most people will say that's as good of an environment as you've ever seen here. You'd put it up against anybody. And this one will have that and then some. It's 1 versus 2. The first time they've ever opened the season 1 versus 2, for God's sakes. Like, it needs to be prime time, and it needs to stand on its own. Let's hit 3 things on a Tuesday.
1, 2, 1, 2, 3 things.
Sponsored by Buckeye Lake Marina, Central Ohio's largest selection of new and pre-owned boats. Find your next dream boat at BuckeyeLakeMarina.com.
All right, number 1 for me, got the email from the boys lacrosse director here in town. The reality is we only have 2 weeks left of lacrosse, which is one of the benefits of it. If your kids are young and they play it, it's kind of all wrapped up in terms of playing for your town by really Memorial Day weekend. It's not like baseball where it goes all summer long. Now, if you want to play club lacrosse, then that goes all summer long, and we'll be doing that this summer. But in terms of the regular season, it ends Memorial Day in terms of playing for our town. But the reason I'm bringing this to attention is, of course, it's rain in the forecast today, and it's been raining a little bit through the night and through the day. One of the lines was, we'll be dodging rain again, and at this point in the season, there are no makeup games. And I just think how many youth sports, hell, the Buckeye baseball game was canceled today. How many sports have been canceled this spring in Ohio? Whoever could be able to tabulate it, it has to be a record. This has to be the most games ever canceled due to weather in the state of Ohio history. I cannot imagine there's been a spring more wet than this one.
First thing for me, some news coming down the pipeline today. The Rich Eisen show is coming to Disney Plus and ESPN Plus in the fall, likely available on that DTC ESPN app that they're going to be launching late summer, early fall. It'll stream weekdays in its traditional noon to 3 o'clock Eastern time slot. So it'll be very interesting to see how the Rich Eisen show goes up against Pat McAfee on the Worldwide Leader.
I think it's like any sort of bundle, right? Like, we want all your stuff.
Everybody. Oh, you don't like Pat McAfee? Here's something else.
Here's something else. I'm sure they reached out to Dan Patrick, too. This will not preclude Eisen, by the way. He's still an NFL Network employee. This is outside.
Double dipping.
Yeah.
Reese, they also said that's probably going to be the flagship of ESPN Radio now. They're going to simulcast it on the radio, and it will take over that slot there. I don't know how many of you guys have ever heard of Luca Morelli. He's a third-round pick of the Blue Jackets in the 2024 draft. He is tearing up the playoffs right now for the Oshawa Generals. He has 36 points in 19 playoff games, 16 in his last 7. That's coming off of a regular season where he scored 74 points in 67 games. He's a 6'2", 185-pound right shot defenseman that will be playing up in Cleveland next year for the Monsters. The right side of the Monsters defense next year with Morelli and Charlie Illick. Going to be pretty fun to watch. The defense pipeline for the CBJ, pretty bright.
Didn't I see, is it Caden Lindstrom
Yeah, he's back playing with Medicine Hat. Scored a goal the other night.
Yeah, I saw that too. So, yeah, every once in a while. It's hard with hockey. You hear these guys get drafted, and then sometimes you don't hear from them for a while. So that's always very, very good to see. So, number 2 for me, last night after Celtics and Knicks, as the Warriors and Timberwolves were getting started, I was looking for something to kind of grab my attention. And this goes back to how much I still think cable is a great way to consume, even though it's absurdly priced. Season 1 Sopranos marathon on one of the HBOs. I paratrooped right in to Uncle June talking to Mama about putting the pinch on Tony. Second to last, penultimate episode of season 1. God, that sucker's throwing 150. It was really bringing it on every level. Some of those, that end of season 1 and then all of season 2 and 3, it's such a strong series. It still holds up to this day. I'm thinking about I've often told Dami, we should do a rewatch of The Sopranos, and then you and I do episodic breakdowns. So it might be something I got to talk to Uncle Dami about.
Yeah, Sopranos episodic rewatch podcast would be a nice companion for your summer. When there's less to do, except for baseball. I was on with T-Bone and Tyvis at the end of their program. I said I was a 4 out of 10 in terms of how I feel about the Cavs game tonight. After the show today, after the last 3 hours that we've done, I am a 5 out of 10 on the Cavs confidence meter. So, game 5 tonight at 7.
Reese, I hope they win for you. That's for sure. I don't watch a lot of reality TV. The one thing I have watched pretty religiously over the last 20 years, though, is The Ultimate Fighter. I'm a big UFC fan. I love seeing these guys fighting to get into the company. Season 33 of The Ultimate Fighter, it has been announced they will be celebrating those 20 years. It kicks off May 27th on ESPN+. It should be very entertaining as Daniel Cormier and Chael Sonnen will be your 2 coaches. Unfortunately, I don't think either of those guys are going to come out of retirement to fight, but it's going to be entertaining.
Bake, never forget the day Dom and I hosted Wall to Wall Sports with the bowler Pete Weber and Rampage Jackson on the same show.
Must see TV.
It was absolute bonkers, as it would be. Number 3 for me, for all of the load management that's been part of the NBA over the last decade or so plus, there's very little evidence that it actually does anything in terms of keeping guys healthy. How many years have we dealt with this? I mean, this is going back a decade plus where guys are just wearing out or catastrophic injury. Now we're dealing with Steph with a hammy and Jason Tatum with what looks like a torn Achilles. I mean, the Cavaliers are ravaged. It's one after another example of these guys not being able to get through. And it's possible we need to rethink this about what we're doing in terms of the training and in terms of the rest that happens for professional athletes. Because to me, it doesn't seem like there's any correlation between resting during the regular season and health in the postseason.
Final thing for me, Amazon's renewed Fallout for a 3rd season, but the 2nd season doesn't come out until December. Feels like a little too early to already greenlight a 3rd season.
Is that Goggins?
Yeah. It's really, the 1st season was great.
This is good, yeah.
The 2nd season I think will be good, but are we sure we don't want to wait till maybe January before we're greenlighting season 3?
Last thing for me, don't go anywhere. Rothman and Ice coming up next. Ohio State got a big cornerback recruit yesterday. They'll talk to Jeremy Birmingham about that. Also, get more on the Trey Hendrickson situation with James Rapine.
There you go. You have that to look forward to, which is nice. We are back tomorrow. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
The radio couldn't contain us, so we've taken over YouTube. Catch Morning Juice weekday mornings at 6 by searching 971 The Fan. Do it.
Do you suffer from leg pain, leg swelling, varicose veins, or leg ulcers? Dr. Barry Zeta and Dr. Joseph Senta at Ohio Vein and Vascular Polaris are pioneers in the vein and vascular field. Dr. Zeta and Dr. Senta can perform minimally invasive procedures that will get you back on track to a pain-free life. Stop living with leg pain and start the process to healthy living with a free Healthy Leg Screening. Go to loveyourveins.com or call 614-324-VEIN. That's 614-324-VEIN or loveyourveins.com.
Take action with Logan Services. Save up to $2,600 on a qualifying train system. Plus, pick one indoor air quality product free when you schedule your installation now. Making home comfort easy, Logan Services.
Hey, Ohio, Prime Sports has arrived, the only book where you can lay 108 instead of 110 on all your favorite teams. Football, baseball, basketball, and hockey. Why would you risk more to win the same amount at another sports book? Download the Prime Sports Ohio app or visit our website, primesportsbook.com. Get a welcome bonus to match your initial deposit up to $400 in bonus bets. And be a member of the Prime Sports family.
Terms and conditions apply. Visit website for details. Must be 21 and present in Ohio. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
After I drop the kids off, I have to run across town for a meeting, hit the gym during lunch. Jake has soccer tonight, and Emily has gymnastics? Oh, did I turn on the crock pot this morning?
With a never-ending to-do list, it's easy to forget something important, like setting up a life insurance plan with Shelter Insurance. Your local Shelter agent can show you how to create a safety net for your family. Don't let life get in the way of what's most important. Visit shelterinsurance.com to learn more. Shelter Life Insurance Company, Columbia, Missouri.
Hey folks, it's Austin Ward here with a challenge. Well, a challenge might not be the best choice of words, so let's say an opportunity. Take the opportunity to lose 40 by the 4th with Awaken 180. Has a different ring to it when you have a finish line, doesn't it? 40 by the 4th. Maybe you looked at the scale this morning and it read 230 pounds. How about it reading 190 by the 4th of July? Maybe the scale says 300. Wouldn't the 260 number be a little nicer on your eyes and on your knees? It's attainable if you have the same results we all had with Awaken 180. I dropped 40 pounds in just 8 weeks. There's no reason you can't drop 40 by the 4th and be feeling as great as I still do now. Ring Independence Day in healthy, confident, and most important, feeling happy. You reached your goal with the help of Awaken 180. So fire up your grill and grab your beverage of choice because the weight's staying off thanks to free support for life. 40 by the 4th. Set your goal and reach it. Reserve your consultation online at awaken180weightloss.com.
Sometimes I hear a sparkling sound.
Like when we say, all you have to do is point?
There it is.
That's the sound of magic happening.
Magic like we can come the day you call us? Wow.
Call 1-800-GOT-JUNK or visit 1-800-GOT-JUNK.com.
Thy ticket, Lady Jennifer of Coolidge.
Well, many thanks, good sir. Hereeth my Discover card.
They accept Discover at Renaissance fairs?
Yeah, they do here. Discover is accepted at the places I love to shop. Getteth with the times.
With the times? You're playing the lute.
Yeah, and it sounds pretty good, right?
Discover is accepted at 99% of places that take credit cards nationwide. Based on the February 2024 Nielsen Report.
For a lot of us, saving up a down payment can be the biggest barrier to buying a home. So Rocket Mortgage is lowering down payments to 1% for eligible home buyers with One Plus. Because everyone deserves their shot at the American dream. Call 800-4ROCKET or visit rocket.com to get a head start on your starter home.
Rocket Mortgage, LLC, licensed in all 50 states, NMLSconsumeraccess.org, number 3030.
Every great team has its core players, but when the season gets tough, adding the right free agent can make all the difference. The same goes for business. At Robert Half, we found that 67% of companies surveyed plan to increase their use of contract talent to handle workload peaks and backlogged projects. With Robert Half's specialized recruiters' experience, combined with our award-winning AI, you can quickly find the skilled candidates you want. At Robert Half, we know talent. Discover how we can help at roberthalf.com/talent.
Adam Schefter here for Vivid Seats, the official ticketing partner of ESPN. Are you ready for the NFL season? The schedule release is coming, and we know the best place to get your tickets this year. My friends at Vivid Seats. They're seriously legit, and you earn rewards on every purchase. That's basically free football games. When that schedule hits, don't wait around. For the best selection and all the great deals, head to vividseats.com or download